Xfinity Series full race live commentary coverage from the Michigan International Speedway for the running of this afternoon's Cabo Wabo 250. And yes, that's right. We are at the fastest track in NASCAR today, the Michigan International Speedway, for this next race. After 1 month off for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, they are finally back from their Olympic break. Of course, last weekend at Richmond, it was just the Truck and Cup Series. This weekend, trucks are off, Xfinity is back, and the drivers are strapping themselves into their rocket ships, getting set for today's 250, 125-mile race. Appreciate everybody tuning in here today. This is our only live commentary stream of the weekend. I'm going to be at the Michigan International Speedway next weekend. Tomorrow, not next weekend, but I will be at the Michigan International Speedway tomorrow. So with that being the case, we will have obviously today's live stream as this Xfinity Series race. I'll also do a NASCAR 07 stream later tonight as well, so a little double header for you. With me not going to be able to do any live commentary for tomorrow. I'll be back, of course, with the live commentary for all of next weekend's action at Daytona and Milwaukee for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series races. It should be a good, fun weekend next week. We'll have full practice qualifying streams as well. For next weekend for the Cup Series, something I was not able to do today with obligations that I had with work so far this weekend. So we're back, though. I'm in time for the start of this race here today, and it should be a fun one. Again, weather going to be kind of spotty throughout the course of today's race, kind of scattered thunderstorms in the Michigan International Speedway area, hence the slight delay for the start of this race here today. Only going to get things started about 25 minutes later than what we were originally expecting to get things started, so it wasn't that much of a delay, all things considered. The command has just been given to fire engines for the start of this race, though, so we'll go through today's starting lineup for the Cabo Wabo 250. Sheldon Creed going to be on the pole as he tries to still go for his first career Xfinity Series win. 10 career finishes of second place. Still no win. One more second place finish. He would have the most all time in the Xfinity Series before getting his first career win. We'll see how that goes for him here today. All three of the Joe Gibbs Toyotas were top three in practice yesterday afternoon. Riley Herbst also on the front row. He'll be starting second. He's the most recent winner in the Xfinity Series, winning at Indianapolis Motor Speedway 4 weeks ago. Taylor Gray and Cole Custer make up row number 2. Another SHR Ford and another Joe Gibbs Toyota up in the top 4. Chandler Smith will round out the top 5 on the inside of row 3. Another Joe Gibbs Toyota with Brandon Jones, the highest qualifying Chevrolet, on the outside of that row. Ryan Sieg and Carson Kvapil in row 4. Another start for Kvapil. He's been great in the 88 car in his few starts he's had so far this season. Jesse Love with John Hunter Nemechek will line up in row 5. Nemechek's my personal pick to win today's race, so we'll see how he does. He's been very good at the Xfinity Series races on these 2-mile ovals, Auto Club Michigan, in the last several years, whether he had been a part-time or full-time Xfinity Series driver. Sam Mayer and Noah Gragson in row number 6 for this one. Gragson is one of 2 Cup regulars in the field today. Of course, the other one is Nemechek starting just ahead of him. AJ Allmendinger will be a Cup regular again next season, as it was announced during the Olympic break for the Xfinity Series that he would be driving full-time for Colleague Racing next year yet again. Sammy Smith also in row 7 to the outside. Lawless Allen making his series debut. Great qualifying effort in the 15th for AM Racing. He'll be starting 15th with Justin Allgaier to the outside of that row. Jeffrey Earnhardt also making a part-time start this season. He'll be driving the 26 Sam Hunt Racing Toyota. He'll be on the inside of row 9, Jeb Burton to his outside. In row 10 will be Anthony Alfredo and Austin Hill. In row 11 will be Jeremy Clements and Parker Kligerman. Shane Van Gisbergen and Daniel Dye will be starting a little deeper in the field back in row number 12. Row 13 for Cesar Baccarella and Parker Retzlaff. Kyle Sieg, Kyle Weatherman, both the Kyles in row 14. Josh Williams with Blaine Perkins in row 15. Matt DiBenedetto and Patrick Emerly in row 16. Row 17, Leland Honeyman and Josh Balicki. And row 18 will be Logan Bearden and Brennan Poole. Ryan Ellis, Joey Gase in row 19 as that rounds out our 38-car field for today's race. Look at the point standings before the drop of the green flag in this one. Cole Custer starting to run away with the regular season championship. Still a handful of races left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series, 6 to be exact, coming into today's action. Cole Custer has a 56-point lead over Justin Allgaier, a nearly 1 full race lead as far as points go. And 87 back is Austin Hill, who was leading for most of the first half of the season, but has kind of faltered as of late. Hill, former Michigan winner, trying to see if he can go to victory lane here today. Former winner in the Truck Series here, I should say, but trying to get a good run on the Xfinity Series race in this one. Chandler Smith, 100 points back, fourth in the standings, and Riley Herbst moved up 2 spots after his win at Indy in the last races. He's now top 5 in the point standings, so great underrated year for Herbst. As far as the drivers locked into the Xfinity Series playoffs on wins, 3 wins for Shane Van Gisbergen, 2 wins apiece for Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, and Sam Mayer, 1 win apiece for Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, Riley Herbst, and Jesse Love. 12 drivers entirely will qualify for the Xfinity Series playoffs when they do begin. 8 drivers are locked in right now, so the 4 that are in on points, if we were to start today, would be AJ Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed, Parker Kligerman, and Ryan Sieg has the final spot above the cut line. Sieg's gap is only 3 points, though, above Sammy Smith in the 8. Another Junior Motorsports Chevrolet outside the top 12 in the playoff standings would be Brandon Jones. He's over a full race worth of points back. Behind Jones is Anthony Alfredo and Brennan Poole of the full-time Xfinity regulars. Still a couple of super speedways left in the Xfinity Series regular season. They have Daytona and Atlanta. The Cup Series playoffs start at Atlanta, but not for the Xfinity Series because they only have 7 playoff races. So the Cup playoffs are going to start obviously before the Xfinity Series. So you got basically 3 drafting tracks if you consider Michigan in there. 2, of course, super speedway drafting tracks. But the draft definitely going to be a huge factor in today's race. Very similar to what we saw at Indianapolis the last time the Xfinity Series was racing. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in for this stream. I'll check the chat, see who's all here. Looks like we've got JoJo, Billy Kramer, and others in the early going of this one. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content as we are getting ready to go green here. Lights are out on the pace car. I don't know why. Still got safety crews on the racetrack. There we go. Now the pace car's turned its lights on. I was going to say, I was like, there's no way we're going green this time. Pace car's a little late getting the lights on. A lot of campers there on the backstretch. Should be a good crowd for tomorrow's Cup race, assuming that we can get the race in on time. I plan on, again, going to that Cup Series race tomorrow. And if they got rained out for some reason, ran Monday, I'd still be at the Cup Series race. The weather looks clear, at the very least, on Monday. Looked like it was going to be a low percentage chance we get the race in both today and tomorrow, but here we are about to get at least the Xfinity race in today, so maybe it'll clear out tomorrow afternoon as well. Scattered thunderstorms pretty much all afternoon for a possibility for today and tomorrow, and that, again, has delayed our start just a little bit, but not by much for this race. Lonnie Clark, Bubba Davis, Earl Arnold Jr., and Wade Zielinski, thanks for tuning in as well. My lucky hat? I guess so. I had a golf outing for my work earlier this morning, and honestly, I didn't play too bad. Our team ended up finishing 3rd. -8, 8 under. My short game wasn't as good as typically is. They relied on my long and medium game, which isn't my best game, so at least I still contributed. Honestly, I think I still would have. The amount of pace laps possible. Again, there are thunderstorms in the general area of the racetrack. So we're going to try to get this thing started as quickly as we can. It takes about 90 minutes or more to dry the track completely on this 2-mile oval. So we're going to try to get as much of this race in as possible. It could be a long stream here today. Hopefully those pop-up showers closest to the track will miss to the south. It's going to be close. But they will be going green here this time. And again, Riley Herbst as well as Sheldon Creed are on the front row. Now, Sheldon Creed, the control car, the pole sitter for this one, will start on the outside of row 1. So he's elected the outside lean here for this initial start. Will we see an underdog winner in this Xfinity Series race? We've seen a lot of different winners in both the Cup and Xfinity Series seasons in the last several weeks, or races, I should say, having a few-week hiatus. A lot of camping in the infield here at Michigan this weekend as well. I'm excited for tomorrow. Haven't been to a Cup race yet this year, so I'm glad finally getting to go to one. All right, pace car should be coming in. Get this race underway. Making the huge left-hand turn. Here we go. Michigan International Speedway, NASCAR Xfinity Series Edition. Sheldon Creed leads us to the green. We're underway for this 250-mile race on this very, very fast racetrack. Side by side between Creed and Herbst. Big bump draft from behind by Custer on the outside lane and the inside lane by Taylor Gray through the first turn. They let go getting into the off-throttle portion of the corner. And we'll see if we get another bump draft down the backstretch. Still door-to-door for the lead. Herbst holding on strong. SHR Ford should be just as quick as they were at Indy a couple weeks ago, but Herbst doesn't get the drafting help as the outside lane did. Taylor Gray took it 3 wide for the lead down on the bottom of the racetrack. Clears the 98, but does not clear the 18. Looks like Gray might have gotten a little loose in the center of the corner. Custer going to bump draft his teammate on the outside lane of Herbst. Herbst getting a big run in the draft as Creed, from the starting position of P1, is going to lead the opening lap of today's race. 30 laps in stages 1 and 2 today. 65 laps to make up the finish of this race in stage 3. And to make this race official, if we get any sort of rain, have to make it either to the end of stage 2 or halfway. End of stage 2 for today's race would be first. So we got to get through these first 60 laps at the very least. Side by side right now for that probably 6th or 7th place position, a couple rows 2 by 2. Most of the outside lane, though, single file off the start. Sheldon Creed trying to break the draft on the front stretch. He cuts down to the bottom of the track. Not all the way to the apron, though. Trying to keep the 98 and the 00 at bay behind him. See those darker clouds off in turns 3 and 4. Again, that pop-up shower looks like it is looming closer to the racetrack here in the early going. The fight for track positions on from the get-go, though, and a mostly single-file line, most of the way through the field. Looks like the top 6 cars have a little bit of a gap built up between themselves and some of the cars behind them, but only by a couple tenths of a second. That first car in the second group is Noah Gragson in the 30, who's already up 5 positions in these opening few laps of the race. Again, Sheldon Creed has led them all so far, 3 laps complete. Top 5 on the initial start has Sheldon Creed in the lead. Riley Herbst second, Cole Custer third, Brandon Jones fourth, and Ryan Sieg in 5th. Trying to get a little clean air on the nose and slightly better run off turn 2 as Herbst. He got to the outside lane. Just doesn't have a push from behind, though, by the 00. And Creed's doing a great job breaking the draft now, even on the back straightaway. Most of the cars trying to stay pinned to the lower line through 3 and 4. And just get the 18 a little arrow loose that could open up a gap for him to make a pass for the lead. Pretty much every straightaway at this point, Sheldon Creed has been breaking the draft. I think he's done it every single time on the front stretch. And from time to time on the back stretch as well. Quarter racing just outside the top 10. Jeb Burton tries to stay in front of John Hunter Nemechek in a battle for 13th on the racetrack. Taylor Gray, who started on the inside of row 2 and tried to make that 3-wide pass for the lead on the opening lap, was not able to get up into the outside lane quick enough, and as a result, he ended up falling all the way back to the 10th position before finding himself back in the drafting line. 2.5 seconds off the lead, but again, positions lost for Taylor Gray in the 19. Big wiggle by the 00 of Custer in the 3rd place position. Car might have gotten tight in that same line in the middle. His teammate trying to make that ground back up on the backstretch. A lot of patience here at the front of the field as they're just trying to log laps in. I mean, we don't get to the end of stage 1 or 2 before the rain comes. I think that's a large reason why a lot of these drivers are being patient right now. They don't think that we're going to be able to get to that point. I would imagine if we get through stage 1, stage 2 is going to be a lot more aggressive. But we got to get there first. And everybody's going to have to make one pit stop at some point before the end of stage 2, whether that break or a later caution in stage 1. We'll have to wait and see how that strategy plays out. Should be pretty straightforward, though, if we don't get any cautions for incident at all in stage 1 or stage 2. And that final stage is going to be just outside the fuel window to make it if we do get all 125 laps in today. Gregson not trying to be patient. He goes to the bottom of Carson Quapple looking to make a pass for 6. It slides back up into the outside lane. A little contact, I think, from behind as he made it. No, he does. Gregson still struggling with this car. Taking him a long time to get momentum back. Allgaier trying to side draft him down the backstretch as he's now out of the outside lane, and Allgaier could be in danger of losing several positions if he does not get by the 30. Needs to find a gap some way or another. John Hunter Nemechek just behind him, making a pass over the 2 of Jesse Love. That pass was made for 12th. 30 getting a push from behind by the 81. Allgaier still not able to get to the outside. Just a little bit of side-by-side racing, though. Those cars ahead of the 30 of Gregson and Knight, they're starting to pull away a bit. Allgaier still stuck on the bottom of the racetrack. It's still losing ground slowly. Seems to be losing about 1 spot per corner. Gets to the outside in front of Jesse Love. Love's not going to try to pull out a line and make a pass on him. He's just going to push the 7, get this line back up to speed. Though the 81 trying to look to the inside of the 30 of Gregson. He gets pinched off, and now they're just side by side again. And the 20's out of line. Trying to go with his teammate down to the bottom. That costed him a position. Allgaier going to get a spot back on the 20. And should be able to bump draft the 30 to get a spot back on the 81. So there's a couple positions Allgaier lost. He ended up getting it back pretty quickly. By some kind of over-aggressive moves, really. Trying to make a pass. Didn't work. Losing a couple positions by both those JGR Toyotas. And again, the top 3 in the practice times yesterday afternoon, as Xfinity Series practice and qualifying was yesterday before the ARCA race. They all took place 1 through 3. Between the 18, the 81, and the 20. The 20 and the 81 did not qualify as good as Creed and the 18. Of course, with Creed qualifying on the pole, so Sheldon keeping that track position here off the start. But doesn't have any help as his closest teammate to him now is Taylor Gray in 8th. Allgaier now gets to the outside of the 81 car yet again, side by side for position. '81-7 still door to door. They're just kind of crossing each other over back and forth for 11th. Mostly calm through the top 7 or 8 positions or so. Looks like they're going to the first commercial break of the race, coming to lap 12 at the line as we're in the first half of stage 1 at the Michigan International Speedway. It'll be a side-by-side commercial break, NASCAR nonstop. We'll go through the top 10 in the running order real quick. Again, Sheldon Creed out ahead. Riley Herbst in 2nd, Cole Custer 3rd, Brandon Jones 4th, Ryan Sieg in 5th, Carson Quapple 6th, Sammy Smith 7th, Taylor Gray 8th, Noah Gregson 9th, Justin Allgaier 10th. And that is the running order at the front of the field. Currently, you're listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Michigan here on KRC. Almost halfway through the stage. I'm sure when they come back from the commercial break, we're pretty much going to be exactly halfway through stage 1. Taylor Gray, Sammy Smith, bumper to bumper. Gray does have a lot of speed in that race car, I believe. Kind of similar to the other JGR Toyotas. They can get out of their own way. Maybe try to gain some of that track position on pit road. On restarts. It's going to be good for him. You just got to get to that outside line as quick as possible. On the initial start, we saw pretty much the most movement through the field as a result of that. Draft just means so much down these long straightaways on this big 2-mile oval. I'd say almost even more so in the Xfinity Series than what it is in the Cup Series, just because those Cup cars with the next gen seem to be able to make more passes available. With the next gen on the intermediate racetracks, like this one. That and it's a mostly one-groove racetrack right now at Michigan because of all the rubber getting washed off from the Cup Series practice session. Cup Series qualifying got rained out post-practice earlier today, and obviously with having to dry the racetrack off again. All the rubber was around and around. Speaking of which, goes the 19 of Taylor Gray as he slides. Looked like he clipped the apron on the bottom of the track, trying to make a pass for position in turns one. Saves it from hitting the wall or getting hit by any other cars, but now that track position's lost as he was up in the 7th place spot at the time of his spin.
And around he went, bringing out the caution for the first time here at Michigan.
Sees underneath some cars. Everything looks fine. Right there. Back of the car just comes around on him. Steve, we talked about the balance between downforce, driving the car in the ground, but that robs speed. Downforce makes it drive better. Take it off, it goes faster, but this is the result.
Yeah, 15 laps on tires, you're starting to lose some mechanical grip. That's when that arrow, that crutch, that side force you're leaning on like a cane goes away, the back of the car slides around.
Fortunately, no contact. Fortunately, nobody hit him. He didn't hit anything. Hurt his pride a little bit. Stop, get 4 tires, go again.
So it's interesting time for a yellow because track position is going to be a huge point in this race. Math would say that, I don't know. I think one stop's really aggressive. That can be really, really once on fuel on both runs. Teams wouldn't want to do it. But this kind of takes the stress away. If you pit it right here, put fuel in your car, then you could stay out at the end of stage 1 and get all the way to the end of stage 2 with potential weather coming. That might be, something I would consider.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's listen into the 7 radio.
I'll move to the 30 when I get there, just so you know. It's super frustrating when people just race and fight their guy race. It is what it is.
Frustration.
Former teammate.
Well, you have that.
15 laps in. Under caution, Allgaier goes up to let him know. And again, that's Noah Gregson behind the wheel.
Pit road's open.
See quite a few making their way onto pit road. Dave.
And one of those is young Carson Quapple, making just a handful of starts this year in the 88 car for Junior Motorsports. Has had a couple of very, very good runs. Right now, the car is 3 in the center, and that was a very familiar feeling to him. He said, just like practice, Marty.
Dave, as Steve mentioned, big decision for the crew chiefs here with rain near the Michigan International Speedway. Jesse Loves in his car was just a little bit too free, so they wanted to make an adjustment here. There you see that with the wedge wrench. Sam Mayer lost a ton of spots right on the start of the race, and then he said he was way too edgy free to keep up the traffic, so a significant adjustment here for the one car trying to tighten him up.
Great stop again, and Waffle coming off the pit road, but it is the 19 of Taylor Gray who brings out first caution.
So split strategies right now. Some drivers that are pitting at this point are more than likely going to stay out during the stage break, and other drivers trying to take advantage of getting the early stage 1 stage points by staying out of the pits and then more than likely pitting during the stage break, which will be coming up in less than 15 laps. So second half of stage 1 currently. When we go green, I do believe the race leader Sheldon Creed did stay out of the racetrack. And again, split strategy in case we get any sort of rain, putting a halt to this race. Have to make it to the end of stage 2 first to have this thing official, which would be lap 60. And again, currently we're at lap 16. And under our first caution of the day with Taylor Gray spinning. And bringing out the yellow. Wait for our leaderboard to update here. Still a long ways to go in this relatively short race, though, if we do get the full length in. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't see either of those two in the race. Maybe 25 plus years ago. Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in as well.
NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Cabo, Wabo Tequila, bringing bold taste to Michigan International Speedway. Drink responsibly. Toyota, let's go places. Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express card, and by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Great shot of the Irish Hills of Michigan. There's a popular spot. Jerry's on the lake. There's so many beautiful areas here in the Brooklyn area and around Michigan International Speedway. Fans have so many opportunities to really just take in the countryside and then enjoy some great racing. We get ready for the restart here. Now, those that didn't choose the inside line, are they at a huge disadvantage after seeing what we saw at the start of this race?
Well, it's interesting because Cole Custer could have picked behind his teammate Riley Herbst. Riley went to the outside.
All right, green flag back in the air. 12 laps to go in stage number 1. Sheldon Creed with a good push on the initial start. We'll see if a gap's going to open up with the SHR Fords in that outside lane for Custer to get a chance to go up. Custer did not get a great push from Sammy Smith on the inside of row 2. Smith almost goes around into the first turn with a huge push from the 7 that went wrong. Allgaier maybe pushing a little too deep into the corner. And Sammy Smith had to drop all the way to the apron of the racetrack as he is losing valuable track position outside the top 25 and still going backwards. Looks like there may be a problem and a tire going down on the 8. He is definitely slow and off the pace here. Something wrong for the 8 car. It looks like a little bit of smoke coming out from underneath it. It's all over the place. Problems for Sammy Smith in the number 8. He's going to make an unscheduled pit stop and huge on the playoff implications. Again, he came in just 3 points below the cut line into this race today on Ryan Sieg. And now currently as we run with him dropping at the tail end of the lead lap as they make a 4-tire change on the 8. Sammy Smith is now 40 points below the cut line. Fire off of pit road. It looked like they changed right side tires only, so might have had a right side tire going down on that restart. Which is interesting because I don't think he was one of the cars that hit pit road during that last caution. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Sheldon Creed held on to the lead on the restart, and the driver who was inside of row 1 of Cole Custer has dropped outside the top 5. He's still down on the bottom lane of the racetrack, trying to find a hole desperately to the outside in the draft. And he does have one car in line behind him. That would be John Hunter Nemechek. Both drivers going backwards at the moment. And there is just nothing there for Custer and Nemechek in the 00 and the 20. Custer tried to slide into the outside lane desperately on Allgaier and missed his slight window of opportunity at the time. That was the first lap following the restart. Off of turn 4 specifically. Custer going to be able to get up in front of Kyle Sieg in the 28, it looks like. So 9th place is where Cole Custer will drop to for being inside row 1 on the restart. And Nemechek still on the inside lane. Squeezes to the outside right in front of Ryan Sieg, it looked like. Rather, Matt DiBenedetto in the 38. And Nemechek falls to 12th. So top 5 on this restart with 8 laps to go now in stage 1. As Sheldon Creed out ahead by a 1/10 of a second over Riley Herbst. Randy Jones 3/10 of a second back in 3rd. Chandler Smith and Ford 4/10 of a second off the lead. And Justin Allgaier 1.6 seconds back in 5th. And that is the top 5 in the running order as of right now. Pretty much every straightaway of this entire green flag portion of the race, Sheldon Creed from the lead is just breaking the draft down the bottom. Herbst just can't get a big enough of a run on him. Could be conserving a little bit in 2nd place. Also, if he's going to make that move, it might be on the final lap of the stage if he can get enough of a push from the 9, get a good enough run off the exit of the corner as well.
Front Creed, Herbst, Jones, and Chandler Smith have got themselves about a 1.5 back to the 5th place car of Allgaier. With 7 laps to go, if these 4 kind of stay organized, follow each other nice and tight down the straightaways, as you see Creed still kind of doing that defensive S down the backstretch,
if you could stay up in front of those next cars, you could settle the stage amongst yourselves.
And Steve, with them staying out when that caution came out, you also would not expect, and the 18 of Cabo.
Oh, wow.
Lock it down, get it over here.
That was a situation. Riley Herbst got to his left rear quarter panel. He had good pace getting into turn 3. Watch him gain getting into turn 3. Now the 18's up the racetrack a little bit, and now he's pulling the air off the back of the car. That's the second Joe Gibbs Toyota we have seen. He has low downforce in that car. The minute that Riley Herbst put his front bumper at his rear bumper, around he went, all the downforce left the car.
And now, with low downforce and no track position, it's an uphill battle for the 18. So when
Yep.
they pit and change tires, they might want to make some adjustments, knowing they're going to have to work through traffic. Luckily, no real damage to the 18, no contact.
Yeah, no contact here. That's just, he just pulled the air right off the spoiler. And obviously the 18, he was having trouble with his car anyway. He was getting up the racetrack, Creed was.
Sideways he goes. He slides onto pit road.
We'll
Pit
see.
road open now.
Yeah, we'll see who else comes. About half the field came on that first caution. With only 6 to go on the stage, it wouldn't shock me if a bunch of the leaders stay out for those points, but I think there'll be a decision by others to come get tires, see if they can drive a little bit better. Let's maybe see the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, Parker Unslap, Cole Custer as well, 0 on pit road from the 8th position.
So John Hunter Nemechek does bring the 20 to pit road. His report was that the car was a little bit free. They'll go ahead and take 4 tires and fuel here, Marty.
See the 0 of Cole Custer coming down once he lost all that track position. And it's interesting. We wondered how much handling would be a factor today. Custer saying his car getting extremely loose later into that run here as everyone pitting on lap 25. In terms of the 18 of Sheldon Creed, yes, Jeff, to your point, I talked to a number of Joe Gibbs Racing crew chiefs. They said, hey, we went to Atlanta with this package earlier this year. We felt like we had way too much downforce on the car, so we came very trimmed out. That creates the speed. It also creates handling, not the way you want it to behind the wheel. So he's sitting there with a very loose race car on the track, and that's what happened. Also, the 98 getting close to him as well didn't help either.
So the spin comes out for the 18. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series Cabo Wabo 250.
Alrighty. So under caution now for the second time. Only a couple laps into that restart. I believe the 3rd lap into the restart. And our race leader, Sheldon Creed, goes around. Getting arrow loose with the 98 of Riley Herbst on that rear spoiler. Never touched him really. A couple feet in between those two cars. Off the exit of turn 4 where the spin had taken place. Another save though. And that's 2 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas now to bring out these first 2 cautions with single car spins and no contact. One in turns 1 and 2 for Taylor Gray. That one he just kind of overdrove the corner, and then this one loose on corner exit for Sheldon Creed. So Herbst now nabs the race lead, and you wonder with how many cautions we could potentially get. We know we're guaranteed 1 more with the stage end. If you could potentially save fuel, keep the track position, still get to the end of stage 2. I also wonder how much the tires will matter, because we did have about 14 green flag laps at the very start of the race as well. First place of those that pitted, I believe, is Jesse Love, Carson Quapple in 12th and 13th. Those were the cars that would have pitted during the first yellow. Several more came down onto pit road during this caution. Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek just came in. Sam Mayer. Obviously, Sheldon Creed, who brought out the yellow, was also on pit road. And it looks like the top 10 in the running order have not hit pit road yet. Allmendinger actually is the highest in the running order of those that have made a pit stop. Alrighty.
Be sure to represent your favorite driver. Take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts, die-casts, and much, much more. Visit NASCAR.com/shop to check it out.
There's no doubt in my mind what's getting shipped from Amazon to my house. And so my children see that thing. I mean, big duck. That was like a good time.
Yeah, all right. He was running fourth. He's lined up on the inside right behind him. Sieg, he was running sixth.
There'll be 3 to go in stage 1. Let's take a look. Riley Herbst brings it back to green. Riley pulling away just a bit. Not enough of a gap for the 7 to fit into yet. Let's see. He's getting pushed by the 39 all the way into turn 1.
He's got it.
Big block right there. He would have been better off staying on the door of the guys underneath him rather than trying to pick up a draft from behind. He needed to slow the cars up that were trying to go by it.
Lost the lead to the 7 of Allgaier, and then Ryan Sieg came right with him. 3 wide as they go to 3. Things picking up intensity-wise now as the laps wind down stage 1. A little movement there. Some contact. Looks like the 9 have gotten a little bit loose. 2 to go.
What happens is cars fill that upper lane. They're going at a lower speed, and they kind of stack up, just like on the interstate, right? If everybody doesn't know that's happening, it's easy to kind of get rear-ended, spun around, or at least push that line. I think that's what happened on the restart. It looked like the 9 might have been trying to let the 7 in, and as he checked up that upper line, it just allowed the bottom lane to go.
Yeah, the bottom lane was pushing much better also.
Yeah.
Hooked up, had momentum. A little bit of rain right here.
I don't think you're supposed to say that, Jeff.
Already good.
Stop fighting.
Final lap, stage 1 at the line. Justin Allgaier on the inside of row 1 got a great push from Ryan Sieg. Both those cars moved into P1, P2. Herbst, who was in third, moved out of line off turn 4, lost a couple spots to Chandler Smith and Brandon Jones. And how about Ryan Sieg making a pass for the lead through 1 and 2? But is it too early? He slides up the racetrack. He was clear, but the 7's back underneath him. But the 7 now doesn't have the drafting help the 39 does. Big push by the 81 to the 39 of Sieg. Sieg leads into 3 and 4. Allgaier back in line in the 4th place position. Brandon Jones going for 2nd. 3 wide further back. Herbst losing time. A lot of time through 3 and 4. What happened to Riley Herbst? Front of the field, though, Ryan Sieg is going to win stage 1 at Michigan. Massive points for him. Again, he came in just 3 points to the good on that playoff cut line. And he gets the max amount of points you can get in these first 30 laps, 10, plus a playoff point, of course, if he is able to make the postseason over the next handful of races. That is the 2nd stage win of the year, by the way, for Ryan Sieg. Still no race wins, obviously, with him being on that cut line coming in. And no stage points for Sammy Smith, who, of course, was the driver he was trying to race to get that final spot as of right now. Brandon Jones, who is well outside the cut line, gets 9 points, but obviously Sieg, being the guy he's having to chase, still outpointed him by 1 spot there. Top 10 and all receiving stage points through stage 1 as Ryan Sieg finishing 1st, Brandon Jones 2nd, Chandler Smith 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th, Lawless Allen 5th in his series debut, Austin Hill in 6th, Riley Herbst 7th, Kyle Sieg with a good run so far at 8th, A.J. Allmendinger 9th, and Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 10. A very much track position style race so far. Great job by Sieg getting to the lead. And I think the big factor was him clearing the 7, and even though he didn't have the momentum to stay in the gas, as long as the Allgaier 7 car was able to off turn 2, because he had the outside lane on the backstretch where the drafting was going into place there for the 81, that is why it ended up working wonders for Sieg, and Root allowed him to get the stage 1 win, making that great move. So congratulations to Ryan Sieg for winning this first stage. It'll be interesting to see if all the drivers who have not ended up pitting so far in this race, if they're going to pit during the stage break. Again, there were 10 cars that have not been to pit road yet. We'll see if they keep their track position. Austin Hill in 6th, highest running of those that have made a stop so far. So if they do end up pitting during the stage end, there's a very high probability Austin Hill will be the race leader. Maybe they're going to try to stretch it on fuel. I'm not sure exactly what the fuel window is here at Michigan. I would assume it's around 45 to 50 laps. And we've had almost 10 laps, maybe more of that caution flag action by the time the stage comes to an end. Again, we've had now 3 yellows with the stage end at lap 30. It's our 3rd caution so far. Commercial now. Don't forget to vote for who you think is going to win this race today in the chat poll. That closes at the end of stage 2 for these live commentary streams. So you got another 30 laps or so there to vote for who you think is going to win today's race. Your 3 voting options are between Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, or Austin Hill. And Ryan Sieg winning stage 1 would fall into the other category, and other at 40% of the votes so far. Rain in the area at the Michigan International Speedway. We'll see if this is going to lengthen this caution maybe into a red flag or a brief hold. See if it passes by. They haven't lost the racetrack, but there is drops on the camera lens, specifically in turns 1 and 2 area of the racetrack. And obviously, because we are not at the end of stage 2 or halfway yet, this would not make the race official if we do get a storm. Still got about 4 hours of daylight yet, though, so even with this, rain passing through, if we lose the track, if it goes through quick enough and there's nothing behind it, then they could still get the full distance in today, but this might make for a slightly longer stream than what we were initially looking at. Could lead into the NASCAR 07 stuff taking place during this stream if they do lose the racetrack at all for a red flag period, because it's going to take 90 minutes or more to dry the track. And it's a 50% race we have at Atlanta on NASCAR 07 up next. Same length that this race is. Honestly, we could probably get it done in about that 90-minute stretch. So that will be our filler time for this, with the race potentially running long, because that was supposed to take place at 8 p.m. Eastern and already had about a half-hour delay to the start of the race. And now potential another delay looming if it starts to rain any harder. Pace cars coming to pit road here, bringing the rest of the field with them, so I would imagine it's going to be a brief hold at first. Drivers will probably have to stay in their race cars. If we do end up losing the racetrack over the next several minutes, if the rain begins to worsen, then the tarps will go over the cars and the jet dryers will hit the racetrack. It does look like, you can see raindrops falling in the little puddles on the inside of the pit lane next to the pit wall. It's kind of a dip in the racetrack at that point from the puddles that, of course, took place with the earlier storm. So a brief hold, at least for right now, as we remain under caution. Red flag has not been displayed at the moment. Drivers cannot get out of their race cars. Pete Creamer also, thanks for tuning in this stream. Excuse me, had a hiccup mid-sentence. Yeah, Herbst has been doing a great job this season. He's 5th in points. He's having a quietly consistent year and finally got that win at Indy. Great drive there. He did win a race in dominating fashion at Las Vegas last season as well. Looks like they're going to commercial break. Again, we are right at the end of stage 1. And another brief rain shower at the Michigan International Speedway. Again, a brief hold at the moment. So still under caution. We'll have to wait and see on our screen if they display the red at all. We'll take another ad break while we're waiting here. Again, you're listening live on KRC. $25 likes on the stream at this point. Red flag has been displayed. Drivers are going to hop out of the car, so it looks like the rain has worsened during this commercial break. So with the rain worsening, we will wait for them to come back from the break, listen into the telecast here and see what the details are from the USA Network booth. Still no covers.
Stop on pit road. Stage 1 is complete. And it was Ryan Sieg who was able to get the win of stage 1. Pretty aggressive pass, which worked out well for him, gaining 10 stage points as well as a playoff point. He's able to make it into the playoffs. And let's chat with the driver of the 39, Jeff.
Ryan, this guys in that USA booth, you with us?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear.
Well, good win there to get in that stage. How big is that for you, racing for these to try to get in the playoffs?
Oh, that was huge. That's exactly what we needed to try to gap us a little bit more on the 8 and them guys. And you know what I mean? It was a good call, and I was able to get by. I had enough of a run. I was laying back to the 81, trying to get something going, and I had enough of a run to get by the 7 and hold on to that stage win.
All right, we're obviously the first stage is over. A lot of racing left to go. What have you learned so far?
You gotta have somebody push you, and it seems tough for anyone to get into your bumper. And luckily enough, the 81 I was able to check up enough. But it's tough. I couldn't get to anybody's outside. A few cars were able to in front of me and to try to get to the right rear off the corner, but it's tough. You never know if somebody's going to get tired or what, run you up the track. But it's definitely interesting to try to figure out how to maneuver people. And I thought we were going to be tight enough entry to try to loosen the field up, but just wasn't the case. You know what I mean? You get a run and just propel them, but we got some adjustments left in our fast IF forward and ready to get back racing and hopefully put this thing in victory lane.
All right, we've seen a few guys spin out all by themselves. How's your car driving?
It's pretty good right now. Mine was handling fine in you know what I mean, behind people. So I think that's what was able to propel me to try to push the 7 enough all the way around and try to stay in their tracks almost. So I was able to run right in their line, and hopefully one adjustment away. We're a little bit stuck off right now, and I think we'll be pretty good. Hopefully just don't get too loose, but mine handled good and it had speed. So that's what I all I asked for, and the guys did a great job.
All right, buddy. Thanks for taking time. That's why race fans love watching races so much. Guys like you willing to do this. Have a good rest of the day.
You guys.
Well, they also enjoyed the fact that we can talk to crew chiefs, and I believe Marty's caught up with Matt.
Yeah, let's check in with Matt Noyce, Ryan Sieg's crew chief. So you wanted to walk all the way down here from the middle of pit road to the end of pit road, right by your race car. Why?
Just to take a look at everything, make sure it looks good, and get any information we can get. We don't have all the resources, so more eyes we can see on the race car, the better we're going to be.
Right. So normally you would choose to pit here at the end of stage 1, but you're telling me you're not, and you don't think a lot of people will. Why?
I just think we're really close on field to make it, and you can't really pass right now, so it's touch and go. We're going to keep looking at our numbers, see if we'll actually go on caution and go back before we pit, but it's, 50-50 we do it or not, so, but it's an option there, I guess.
So your job as a crew chief is to put your driver in a spot to get those stage points. How critical is it the last 2 races now you guys have been able to win a stage?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've had good fast race cars, and I think Pocono had a really fast race car too, and we weren't able to utilize as much. We were fast in practice, but everybody at the shops running really hard, building good race cars, and bringing them fast to the racetrack and ready. I think we knew yesterday we had a really good race car, and we just got to keep doing that, and it's going to keep along in the stage points and getting us to the playoffs.
And I think maybe the best thing, other than you guys winning the stage for you and your race team, is that the rain's kind of stopped here, so Ryan may not have to get out of the car and can just keep the momentum going.
Correct. It might just be just a little bit of breather and kind of regroup and make sure we have enough time to think about what we're going to do here.
All right, Matt Noyce has been doing a really good job the last 2 races. That's 2 stage wins, 1 in Indianapolis, 1 here at Michigan for Ryan Sieg. And when you're that close to the cut line, Rick, that's huge.
Yeah, coming in, just 3 points in front of Sammy Smith. So every point that they can gain, and those 10 extra points there for winning the stage, very helpful for the 39 team and Ryan C.
We talk about, the bigger funded teams and smaller funded teams. There's
Tell if
a
it's
example when he was referring
still raining or not.
all the resources. The certain big manufacturer-based teams, they get high-def photos of their car all the way around the racetrack, high resolution. They don't have to walk down and look at it. I mean, they know what this car looks like from every corner. But this 39 car, well, he's going to stop down there. I'm going to walk down. I'm going to look at the front splitter, the grill tape, look at any sort of potential damage on, for sure, the left side of the left front. We're showing them the right side here. They always love some TV coverage. Rear bumper looks good. Just, just shows a young crew chief, small team, just taking advantage of every opportunity.
So it was just a light rain that came through. There's a couple spots that the track crew is working on. But we are on a red flag here in Michigan, hoping to get back soon.
Well, I'm not being active. So why don't you act like a good sister and get me some more butt gluing?
No, no, I'm kidding. She got burned. Golden Corral commercial. I don't know if you guys even heard that or not. Ryan Sieg leads at the end of stage 1, lap 33 of 125. A brief rain delay here at the Michigan International Speedway, a little over a half hour into this race. This is our third caution of the day. The rain came right at the end of stage 1, warranting NASCAR to put us under red, but then it briefly came to a stop. Covers aren't even on the cars, so it didn't completely lose the racetrack. So it's not like it's going to be a 90-minute delay here unless we get more rain behind it. It's still kind of spotty the rest of the afternoon into the evening. This may be kind of a similar situation to what we could see tomorrow as well during the Cup Series race. And I will be at the Michigan International Speedway tomorrow afternoon, so just a reminder that we will not have a live commentary stream here. If you're looking for a YouTube avenue to listen and or keep up with the race as far as like a live commentary stream that we would usually have on the channel, you can check out CeeLo on the Go's channel. He is a supporter of the channel. He does live commentary streams just like me. A little different. He plays more of the race audio all the way through and then just kind of gives his opinions and stuff during the cautions or the commercial break periods of the racetrack. Doesn't do like the, like commentary that I do throughout the course of the race as well. But again, you can check that out. Very engaging with the chat over there as well. He sends his viewers when he goes to races over here, so I got to do the same. It's only the right thing to do. So check out his channel for tomorrow's Cup Series race. Tell him I sent you.
Lakes, the Irish Hills, where we have Michigan International Speedway. The many lakes that so many people were able to take advantage of. Steve, are we going to see this get purchased on Amazon too?
No, I don't think the dual wakeboarding is not something we're going to try.
Okay.
That the same thing to the split of the
The kids earlier on the duck.
series. It's like the water skiing shows.
And again, under a red flag, haven't gotten stage 2 underway just yet as the end of the stage happened and then sprinkles came. And so that's a good sign when the jet drivers make it back behind the wall. Let's hear from the 7 crew chief.
Red flag lifted.
That is Jim Coleman looking back and forth, waiting for the pits to be open, I'm sure. Because I don't know if you're going to pit or not. You didn't pit the first time, stayed out for some stage points. So how's the plan so far?
Car's been pretty good. I think we got enough speed in the corners to hang on to the tires, and run some long strategy. I don't know that we're gonna do that right now, but we'll see.
You told me earlier today you had no idea what to expect. Was this even close to what you had in mind, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I figured we'd be single file fighting for the top and protecting the top, kind of like Atlanta, and I think that's what we got right now. So.
Can we maybe get a one-stop race out of the 7 car? You have to pit another time.
Depending on weather, it's possible. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Jim.
I think he really showed his cards there, Steve.
It's so what I hear is he might pit or he might not. And here's the thing.
Could go long, but maybe not now.
Yeah, right. Matt says you know, you could probably between all these yellows stretch it. You all at the end of stage 2, but then you're gonna have to, you know, if you have any sort of ill handling situation or getting a bad aero spot, you're gonna have no tire grip. The problem now is so many cars have pitted. You know, of the 30, 8 cars in the race, quick math says about 27 or 8 of them have come to pit road, so they're probably not pitting under this break. You're gonna lose a lot of track position. Radar looks like it's breaking up.
Yeah, and we're not meteorologists, but obviously the crew chiefs are looking at that as well and trying to figure out their strategy. If they do come to pit road, if there's a possibility the rain could postpone this race or lengthen it to that stop time that we told you about earlier, 8:20.
You know, remember that in today's race, the end of stage 2 will be an official race. If it rains anytime after that. And so that, to me, with rain in the area, that is the point that you've got to be making to your driver. I need to understand what the rules are. Weather's in the area. Track position matters. Right now, I have to be racing for the win as if this race isn't going to go to the end.
It's interesting. The sun is shining right now on the racetrack in certain areas. So pit road is open. We'll see who takes advantage of that. And a few cars are making their way down to pit road now. One of those being the 81 of Chandler Smith. Marty.
An interesting mixed bag with some of the cars who thought they might stay out, choosing to do that. Some coming to pit road. One of those, Chandler Smith, who said his car just a little bit too free for him. Also, he wanted to check the left side for the contact that he had with the 7 car a little bit earlier. Parker Klingerman also coming down pit road. He too, way too free in traffic. Not able to make the progress. And he wanted tires and fuel for the teams coming here at the end of stage 1. And yes, Rick, you made a great Michigan at least.
Well, we're hoping for the entire race to be run, which is 250 miles, 125 laps. As the field continues to work around, and we had mentioned there were a few cars that stayed out. So right now, Ryan C., Brandon Jones, Allgaier, and Riley Herbst, they are in the top 5, and they have stayed out.
Well, not just have stayed out, but have stayed out for duration, right? So you look at Steve Jones, Allgaier, and Herbst, and yet to pit the entire event. Hill has those fresher tires. He came in 16 and mixed behind him. Marty.
And I just talked to Matt Noyce again about this decision to stay out here for Ryan Sieg after winning this stage. He said, we are really close, to your point, Steve, to being able to make it to the end of stage 2. But he said to Ryan Sieg on the radio just a moment ago, I'm going to need you to back down here in this stage just a little bit. And for the first part, I may need you to run 50% throttle. Don't lose a ton of track position, but I may need you to draft for a little bit, save me a little bit of fuel, and then I'll feel good about us getting to the end of stage 2.
I think that's why. And maybe if we'd have gone green for the whole stage, more would have been on this strategy. But as they've kind of jumped off this, you see the lap 16 pitters and the lap 25 pitters. Now you're kind of out there by yourself. So, or only 4 of you. So saving fuel is going to be very difficult with the guys better on fuel pushing you.
That is the key. Is what are the guys behind him going to do? Are the guys going to jump on the bottom and try to be advancing? And now you're trying to save fuel. If they can get single file and everybody wants to let laps down rather than racing, then this can work. Because he can lead the race saving fuel. But if everybody gets racing, it'll become difficult.
Now remember, the control car, the race leader is the 39 of Ryan C. And so he will be the one who gets to determine when they go in the restart zone. So Allgaier will be on the inside, and we'll hope that he can keep up with that outside line and then find a spot to get in there once the green flag has come out and they're racing back into 1 and 2. And on the outside of row 2 is Brandon Jones. Dave.
Rick wanted to point out how important that finish in the stage was for Brandon Jones. 9 stage points. It's so critical. He was 69 below the cut line coming into today's race, 14th out of the 12 that can make it in. And so he either needs to win or he needs to start stacking on points with 6 to go. That was crucial.
And maybe, this team has a lot of ground to make up on points. Maybe they're in a must-win situation, right? I mean, you don't know. I think if Brandon Jones gets himself in position, I think he has to be thinking win.
Yeah, 69 points coming into this race below that cut line. It's a lot. Right along Austin Hill in the 21, he's made his way up inside the top 6.
What has made the inside line effective is great pushing. So that means they're going to get more aggressive, or they're going to push too hard and cause an accident.
We'll see how Riley Hertz does behind the 7. And a little checkup behind this group. You saw them spreading out back there, but now back in line as they're back underway with stage 2. Door to door as they enter turn 1. Three wide for third.
A lot of movement. Oh! Too much movement.
Feel the if he can keep it down. He does. Caution comes out.
That was a block gone wrong. That was on Austin. He moved down. He was not clear.
See the vibration, like he has a flat tire for sure. The left front's flat. Just making it pull left. Let's see what kind of damage he has when he gets in the pit stall. So watch this right here. Watch Austin Hill in the 21 car. He saw this as an opportunity. This wreck starts all the way back here, right? Good run, good push from Allmendinger. Watch what he does right here. He finds a way to get momentum, and the minute he does, he jumps to the outside of the 9. Now he's got his left front.
That was a good move.
Brandon Jones, that drags him back. Now he's got good forward momentum going down the back straightaway.
So he's on the outside. And you see him coming back across the field right to that point. And then a front bumper.
I think that's the 88 of Quapple. I don't believe the 88 did anything wrong. He's holding his lane. The 21 just switches lanes and kind of comes across the 88's bumper. This would be great on the onboard. Yeah, watch his eyes. Watch his eyes. Looking to the left. He thinks he's clear. Looking again. Looking again. Looking again. Thought he was clear, and he went. That right there is what low horsepower drafting type tracks. That's what it does. You try to take a run. You try to get momentum. That entire time, he was looking to see if he was clear. He ended up making contact with the 88, and around he went.
He's been on this 21.
I think what you were seeing is a flat left front as you drove around.
Can you fault Quapple for this? Carson Quapple in the 88, he just stayed in the gas. Now, he could have let off and let him in, but is that what he's supposed to do?
No.
Well,
He's already there.
25th, and I think there was a little bit of light contact, and I think you have to assume the 21 knows you're there.
Yeah.
You can't. If you lift every time somebody swerves at you like they're going to hit you, you're not going to go anywhere. Let's listen in to the 88.
That dude was not clear, was he? Obviously not.
Attitude is why the Quapple has been so good so quickly in this series. You know, he has a lot of late model experience, and I agree that he gave him a little bit of room, but then at some point he's like, hey, man, this is where I am. And they ended up getting the 21 turnaround.
Marty.
Yeah, from the Austin Hill side of things, car is actually fine. Good eye, Steve. Yeah, the splitter looks great. It was just a left front that was down that you heard Austin Hill say on the radio that something was wrong with the race car. And I go back to Atlanta earlier this year where they had far more damage than they have right now. Yeah, Austin Hill shotgun on the field in 38, but I think they're still certainly in this one here at Michigan, Dave.
And Marty, Carson Quapple, not yet full-time in the Xfinity Series, wants to, not make a lot of people mad at him. So asked again, hey, was that me being a knucklehead? And the team said, no. In fact, we already went and talked to the 21, and they are not blaming you. It was just tight racing.
Yeah, that move by the 21 of Hill, that's why he's won so many races at Daytona and Talladega. The willingness to make those aggressive moves. That's what you have to do. Obviously, overstepped it just a little bit, but you have to be willing to take a run and then fill the holes as they get presented.
Very quickly in stage 2, the caution comes back out for this spin by the 21 of Austin Hill. And again, working from all the way at the wall, he tries to get down to take advantage of a little momentum, but it's not enough to clear the 88. He goes around, the caution comes out, and we'll have a restart. Return to Michigan.
Under caution for the 4th time in the first 39 laps of today's race. The opening lap following the only 9-minute red flag we had for spinning off the front bumper of Carson Quapple right around the 3rd place position, getting into turn 3 and the back stretch. Just pulled out of line. 88 was already there, spun himself off the right front fender of Quapple in the 88 car. So Justin Allgaier actually did get to the lead before the caution came out. He was side by side with Ryan Sieg. It was going to be tough to clear him down into 3 and 4, but that caution definitely bails the 7 out. So now Allgaier's out in front for the 2nd different time today. Seen quite a few lead changes with these restarts going into play, more than what you would think after the first 23 laps of the race were led by the pole sitter Sheldon Creed. Had 4 lead changes from lap 24 to 39 with these restarts. A very caution-filled race, though, so far, to say the least. And that brief red flag we had for about a 9-minute rain delay led us to not having an extra caution for that rain specifically because it took place while we were under the Stage 1 caution. This race is on the USA Network. I saw your first comment, by the way, also, Gerald. I'm not sure. The production cars in that game, I think it was a little less than half the field. It was probably like a third of the field. Because there were only a couple Fords, I thought. It might have been like 6 Fords, 6 Dodges, 6 Chevys, I think. So maybe 18 production cars in that game. Don't quote me on that, but that feels like it's the right number. It might have even been 9. Could have been 9 of each, but you could only run, I think, 9 at a time based on the manufacturer used, I think, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was 9 total and it was like 3, 3, and 3. That could be 2. Honestly, don't remember. I didn't touch it much when I went there. Those cars didn't drive right on the ovals for some reason. It was way too loose to run the ovals on that game.
Thing going on there. That might be a Snoop Dogg impersonation. Everybody having a good time.
I'm going to tell you.
I believe I would repeat the message I said, drink responsibly.
Some Cabo Wabo, I believe. Listen, Cabo Wabo in the cup.
And getting ready for the restart. Allgaier on the outside. As we see that 7 surging toward the restart zone. Back up through the gears they go. AJ Allmendinger on the inside line. Sieg trying to push Allgaier. And the 98 of Riley Herbst has 16 just in front of the 7 as they enter 1.
This is where the outside line had that advantage. The bottom is broken apart. So it has at the top. The 7 should kind of surge down the backstretch. I would think more energy on the top lane. As I say that, the bottom pushes out.
And, he gets back in line. 3 wide for second as Allmendinger's catching the 16. He slides all the way up to the top of the track.
All right, Herbst is in trouble right here. Everybody kind of got in order on that outside lane. Is he going to have anywhere to go in that 98 car?
Right behind him in the 30. Currently, it's Noah Gregson. We'll see if those two stay together. But that inside line has dropped back at least 6 positions. 7 now as we're fighting with Brandon Jones for that 7th spot.
Only thing Riley Herbst can hope for is that 19 car cannot stay in the gas. She can't push the bumper of that 9 car. There it is.
Took the spot. And now Noah Gregson in the 30 is leading the bottom line, but it's going the wrong direction. Chandler Smith in the 81 trying to stay as close to the car in front of him. Not to give an opportunity. Now, 3 wide, 2 wide. They go down the backstretch.
That was almost a big wreck right there.
Jeff Burton in the 27 is going to fall backwards.
Like what SVG did there, though, in the 97. I think he was the first car to jump up there 3 wide. There he is again, looking to the right rear. If he can get there, Sam Mayer,
Oh.
it's going to be a problem. So there you go. You asked about the 88 lifting on the backstretch for the last wreck. SVG right there kind of got squeezed by the one. He had every right to stay in the gas, but it could end up in a big wreck. He lifts. He kind of let the one in line.
There comes the 7, big momentum as the 39 had gotten to his inside. The 7 now rocketing back by as AJ Allmendinger trying to make that 16 work once again.
Look at the difference. The 88 chooses to go with the 39. It pushes him right back by the 16. Jeff, if he follows the 16 easily goes forward.
Yeah, some of these decisions are made just split second. Like there's times when it happens this quickly, you get yourself in a position you didn't even really want to be in. I was feeling that's kind of what happened with Allmendinger.
He slides back in line. And in line is in front of Brandon Jones, so Allmendinger drops to 6.
Certainly more aggressive than it was in the first stage.
Riley Herbst jumps out of line, trying to clear the 9. He does a little side drafting to pull him backwards, but is it enough? Is the gap wide enough to slide in front of him? Not quite there, and the 9 will let him in.
That's aggressive.
We heard Justin Allgaier very early in the race complain about the 30. I think that frustration is we see the 21 big move in the bottom. The frustration from these drivers is going to continue to go up because every one of them are just, if they're clear by an inch, they're taking that spot.
I feel like 6 cars are driving very well. All but 2 multiple times now. The 7 has put a big gap on him. Maybe it's be laying back, but I don't think so. It looks like to me his car. See that right there? Way up the racetrack. I don't think his car is driving. He did not pit. He's never put tires on this car yet.
Party.
And Rick, he's one of 4 drivers who have not pitted so far today, including the leader, Justin Allgaier, is struggling with the handling here from Ryan Sieg. So, Steve, it was interesting. Matt Noyce, his crew chief, a moment ago told him, I think that caution got us the laps we needed, but I don't want you to lead anymore in this stage because when you're leading, you burn more fuel. So does that make sense to you? You're going to tell your driver, hey, don't lead. I want you in the draft, saving me some fuel.
Well, it's easier said than done, though. That's some of that run I think we're seeing out of the 39. I think they'll all stay in line and push him along, but he's kind of been overtaken now by the 88 and the 20. I like the cars that decided to pit one of the yellows in stage 1. I think they have a mix of track position back, but at the same time, their cars are driving pretty good and they can be aggressive.
You see, he goes to the bottom of the racetrack right there. And off of turn 2, he gets slow.
Yeah, the 98 just going to pop out of line.
Hard.
Did not clear Sieg and
Oh my gosh. Oh. Mayer and Jones making.
Brandon Jones is sideways.
Oh, Custer.
Little contact there.
Right at the end.
But one of Sam Mayer caught up in this. The 98 was trying to get back up the racetrack.
It's a hard hit.
39 was there.
Car's on fire.
Popped into the wall with Riley Herbst. Take another look.
See, you've been having trouble off turn 2. He did again. Herbst got a big run. Tries to get back in front of him and just completely misjudges it.
Yeah, just simply not clear. Wants to come up, try to open that entry into turn 3.
He has so much momentum here. He thinks he's clear. He's trying to cover that outside, and the 39 had to lift. The 9 got into him.
To your point, Jeff, I think that he's passing the 39 with such pace that he thinks he's going to easily go by him. And at the same time, the 9 kind of gets to the 39's bumper and surges the 39 forward, which changes the pace of overtaking. Kind of like passing someone at the interstate, not checking your blind spot. That person's decided to speed up. You're changing lanes. They're still on your bumper.
And Brandon Jones, once again, sitting there minding his own business. For another wreck. He had nothing to do with it.
And late, you mentioned the 00. He comes into the picture as well. Trying to find the 1. So there's the 9 spinning. All right, there's the 1. He gets in the grass, then into the 9, and then still sliding, still sliding. Oh man, so frustrated for the 00 to be so late into the accident.
Good sign here as Riley Herbst, winner of the Indy race.
That was a big hit.
Was on the track, climbs out, and listening to what he said on the radio before he climbed out of the car.
Clear. Tight. On the brake. You right, buddy? Yeah, I hooked it right when I heard clear. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was not clear.
There.
That's on the spotter.
He was being called clear by a spotter. And he just wasn't. He was not clear.
It wasn't even close.
That is the case right there, Steve. You know, you listen to your spotter, but you make the decision. There's only one driver. Only one of you goes to the infield care center after a wreck, and it's you. Yes, you may be called clear, but at the end of the day, you're the one's got to make the decision.
Yeah, that'll have to be a meeting if you're Gavin Restito, the crew chief of this car. These are the very uncomfortable conversations that you're in charge of. Everyone makes mistakes. The radio's very clear. You hear the spotter say clear. This is one that we'd be rewatching the video and having conversations. We see now some left front damage on the 39 as well. Ryan Sieg.
Ryan Sieg agrees with everyone's assessment. He said, what was he thinking? He just completely came into us and then reiterated with Tim Fedua, his spotter, that was not my fault. Fedua said, yes, you're correct. That was not your fault. The end result, though, is that he does have that left front damage, also a little right front damage. Matt Noy said, I think that it could last till the end of the stage, but I think it's not worth it. We're going to come down when pit road is open, put on tires here, and their strategy kind of goes out the window, but more importantly, damage to the race car.
No, but I'd like not get caught up in the emotion, right? They scored stage points, won that first stage. That's 10 points. I know you're frustrated that this is kind of hurting your strategy, but you can either stick your head in the sand and ignore it and continue to go in a direction that's not working, or you can say, well, at least we're not the 98. We're not on the hook. We're not the 9 with quarter panel missing. We have small damage to the right front. Let's pit right now. Fix that damage. From what I've seen aerodynamically in this race today, Jeff, other than leading, second, third car in line, I don't think that damage will hurt the 39 too much.
Exactly.
See Sam Mayer, yeah.
Outside of the number 1 car, here's Cole Custer back on pit road.
That damage is pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. For when he first wrecked, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's done. But they've done a great job getting this car reasonably looking good.
And Craig Smokestead there, running the tape on the left front. Long time car chief in both the Cup and the Xfinity Series. He's repaired enough cars on pit road. He knows what to look for, where to tape them up.
Steve, with regard to this incident, we've heard that spotter say clear, but I think you nailed it. There was momentum coming from the 9 that got into the back of the 39 that I think changed the way that whole incident took place, because he wasn't clear after that momentum came back to the 39.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, you're not clear until you're clear. And I think he was calling him assuming it was going to happen. And it's just a mistake. I mean, we're all human. We make mistakes. When a clear misjudgment, miscall by the spotter, and then, Jeff, your point, the driver didn't double check, reacted, and maybe in the closing laps I could see that move, but it's awful early in the race to just take that hard right-hand turn. And now we're seeing most of the cars that had yet to pit today, the 7 and the 39, come to pit road, Dave.
John Hunter Nemechek stays out. He was third as the 88 comes in. Carson Quapple. They fixed that free in the center. Car obviously very good as he ran up front. As for Justin Allgaier, they were talking about pulling a piece of tape off the front there. That was to help him stay tucked up when he was in.
Ryan Sieg, these are likely the tires I want you to finish the race on. Can't make it on fuel, so they may be thinking maybe just a splash and go there at the very end. The most important thing is to fix that damage. They feel like they do not have it, so they ask them to tire back. You can see that left front damage here on the 39 car. So then
That's going to be tough aerodynamically.
last shot of good years for the rest of the day here at Michigan.
Oof.
They put the hammer to the inside of that wheel well to try to move some of the damage out. And this is how it happened. Herbst coming up on the 39 and into the front. Under caution for that Xfinity Series, Cabo Wabo 250 for Michigan.
Well, here we go. Under caution yet again in a very caution-filled race at the Michigan International Speedway. Our sixth, make that fifth yellow of the day so far, and we aren't even halfway, and they're just a short 250-mile race. Again, most of these Xfinity races on the season are 300 miles, so 250, a pretty short one. John Hunter Nemechek looks to be our current race leader. He stayed out of the pits during this set of pit stops. First time Nemechek has led today. Let's wait and see exactly how this is going to all end up shaking up for this restart. We're going to have a little less than 10 to go in stage 2 when we get back to racing, so we know we're guaranteed another yellow at lap 60. Hard hit for the 98 of Riley Herbst, who brought out that caution, not clear on the 39 of Ryan Sieg. Tried to get up in line for third, turned himself hard head on into the wall on the entry of turn 3, and then spun trying to miss the 98. He came down the racetrack, clipped his teammate Sam Mayer. Both of those cars had significant damage, and after the contact between Mayer and Jones, Jones then came back across the top of the racetrack again, and Cole Custer had slammed into him at the end of the wreck. Both Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, and Riley Herbst, all three of them out of the race following this wreck. Cole Custer still remains on the racetrack trying to get past the DVP clock as he's at the tail end of the lead lap, but he had quite a bit of damage on the nose of his car. Ryan Sieg also involved in the wreck technically. Of course, that's who the 98 had spun off the front bumper of. So 5-car incident, damage on the left front fender of the 39. Pushed in quite a bit, which is going to hurt aerodynamically on this very aero-dependent racetrack. Waiting to get back to racing here.
You join NASCAR's free rewards program and start earning points to turn into from home or at the track. Visit NASCAR.com/fan-rewards. Fans here enjoying a little bit of sunshine as track drying. It was great. Got back to racing. That person enjoying their time. The crowd having a good time as we're getting ready for the restart. It'll be 6 laps to go in stage 2 with cars coming to pit road. John Hunter Nemechek will be up front. AJ Allmendinger has chosen the inside line. Jesse Love will be the outside of row 2. And Sheldon Creed's made his way back up into the top 4.
Yeah, that early spin, pole center, covered so far.
All right, here we go. Back to racing. 6 laps left in stage 2. Nemechek outside of row 1, inside of row 1. AJ Allmendinger in the 16. Green flag in the air. The field after spinning from the lead, leading the first 23 laps early in the day, is pushing the 16. Both rows led off of the top lane car in their row. And mostly 2x2 all the way through the field down the back straightaway. Will somebody make a move for 3 wide? We've seen it gone wrong a couple times these last few restarts, but pretty tame this time. All those cars on the bottom need to get to the top quickly before they start to lose more positions. Getting split 3 wide middle was Allmendinger as he gets to the outside eventually. Sheldon Creed still stuck on the bottom. And Jeb Burton also got slammed 3 wide middle off of turn 4 as he lost several positions. So both Jeb Burton and AJ Allmendinger were able to get to the outside eventually. Burton in 10th, Allmendinger in 3rd. Nemechek led his first green flag lap of the race at the line that last time. Of course, he is racing for cup points. Jesse Love in 2nd, highest running Xfinity Series regular. Sammy Smith, after having an unscheduled pit stop under green late in stage 1, had a flat tire on a restart, is now back up in the top 10 as well. 3 wide off turn 4, battling for position again. Creed to the apron on the front stretch as he completes the pass on the 2nd lane car, but can't get all the way into the outside as he gets drafted by towards the end of the front stretch. Creed falls back out of the top 5 again. Shane Van Gisbergen trying to make a pass on the 18 car next Creed going to try to slide in Ryan in front of SVG, and he is able to. So you can definitely see there's still speed in that 18 car. When he spun earlier, he never made contact with anything. So that car... Tenth of a second lead at the front of the field for Nemechek. 3 laps left in stage 2. We'll see if John Hunter can hold on. I would imagine Jesse Love's probably going to wait for the last lap, similar to Ryan Sieg back at stage 1, to attempt to make a move. That way, if he isn't able to make it happen, he's only going to lose a couple of spots at the most. Taylor Gray, who also spun earlier in the race from the top 10, is up to 4th again after starting the day in 3rd. Again, back in the top 10, also Lawless Allen. 4 wide on the front stretch now. Getting a little dicey there, back half of the top 10 off turn 4. Now Parker. That was just outside the top 10. There's still 2 and 3 wide on the backstretch. A little contact around Noah Gragson in the 30 in the car. He ended up sideswiping there in the middle group. Couldn't tell who that was exactly. Eckhart gets back to the outside. Gregson's still stuck down on the bottom. A lot of disorganization there outside the top 10 still, with cars trying to get back into that outside line. Final lap, stage 2. Nemechek's built up a couple car length gap over Jesse Love. Can't tell if Love's sitting back or if the 20's just flat out pulling away here. Still a bigger gap down the backstretch. Jesse Love's going to need a big push from the 16. He's not going to get it there. He's actually pulling the 16 car down the back straightaway, but not reeling in the 20 by a lot. No move going to be made here through 3 and 4 as Jesse Love's too far back. He is in danger of losing 2nd. Allmendinger making it close there off turn 4, but can't quite slide underneath him. Top 5 positions stay the same on the final lap of the stage. 4 wide at the line in the back half of the top 10 there again for those final few stage points. Waiting to sort all that out while John Hunter Nemechek is going to get another stage win on the Xfinity Series season as he wins stage 2. He's already won a couple races in the Xfinity Series so far this year in that 20 car, trying to win a 3rd. Jesse Love is sitting in the 2nd place position at the end of stage 2. AJ Allmendinger 3rd, Taylor Gray 4th, Sammy Smith 5th, Chandler Smith 6th, Justin Allgaier 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, Jeff Burton 9th, and Anthony Alfredo gets the final stage point in 10th. So that rounds out the top 10 for this one. Well, the race will be official if we get any sort of bigger thunder showers here in the later afternoon hours at the Michigan International Speedway. Per NASCAR rules, have to make it to either the end of stage 2 or halfway. We are now at the end of stage 2. So this race will be official here this afternoon. 32 likes on the stream, so be sure to hit that like button. At least try to get to 50 in this one. Not sure exactly how many stage wins that is for Nemechek on the season for the Xfinity Series. He's not running for points, so it doesn't show him on the standing sheet at all. Again, he is running for Cup Series points. One of only 2 Cup regulars in the field today. The other, Noah Gragson. Pretty much has been outside the top 10 for most of this race. But again, Nemechek wins stage 2. Should have a big flurry of cars coming to pit road during the stage yellow. We'll close the chat poll that is open currently. 59 votes were casted for who you thought was going to win today's race at Michigan. 37% of those votes taking somebody other than Custer, Allgaier, or Austin Hill. 34% taking Austin Hill. 27% for Justin Allgaier. Only 2% taking Austin Hill. Allgaier, the only one of those 3 that hasn't been in any sort of an incident today. Hill's still in the race. He had a single car spin there after a bad block. But he has been outside the top 10 ever since. He's back up to 15th. Justin Allgaier has been hanging around in the top 10 for most of the day. He's led a few laps. 17 laps led for Allgaier so far. And onto pit road comes the 20 and Nemechek, followed by the rest of the field. Mostly. Kvapil staying out. It looks like he'll be the leader.
Wait, on to pit road, Dave.
And John Hunter Nemechek will pit for the first time today in the 20 car. His car was a little bit free. Talking in code, they had a plan. We'll see if they take 2 or 4. Marty.
Jesse Love finished second in stage 2. He said he's good when he's in dirty air, actually in the draft. Look here, a little bit too tight. They're going to go up on the track bar here. And Goodyear tires for everyone, and fuel also with 63 to go. It would be tight. A little too tight maybe to make it to the end of the race.
88, 51, and 11 all stayed out under this caution, but you see John Hunter Nemechek, 2-tire strategy and holding on to the lead. Gregson and Allgaier with a just fuel-only pit stop were able to grab a lot of positions. So while the racing was underway at the end of stage 2, we were able to catch up with Riley Herbst. It was moments ago.
So Riley Herbst is out of the infield care center. Hard hit, you okay?
I thought we had a really fast launch energy car. I thought we got shuffled back a little bit on restarts, made our way back up to the front, and just had a racing deal. Thought I had it. Obviously, I didn't have it. Now we're in the infield care center, but just a really fast race car. I thought we were going to have a shot at it there. It was kind of fun once we started getting racing a little bit, but yeah, looking forward to next week at Daytona, and we'll go from there.
You and I talked pre-race. You're locked into the playoffs. Were you any more aggressive today, just knowing that you had that in the hand?
I would like to say so a little bit. I mean, it's just a huge weight off your back, right? You can take bigger risks. You can put your car in positions where you wouldn't normally do it. So, yeah, I probably put myself in a position looking back on it I probably should have got out of, but I thought I was clear. I wasn't clear, and yeah, bummer deal.
I love that interview.
It's raining in my place about 50 minutes south of the Michigan International Speedway. So, yeah, definitely some spotty rain showers all afternoon. I think it did rain around here a little earlier in the day. I was away from home again this morning, but it was pretty damp when I got back. 1 to go under this caution. 1 lap left till we get this next restart. Top handful of cars stayed out of the pits during this last caution. Looks like the top 9 stayed out of the pits. Here's Sam Mayer outside the infield care center with Dave Burns.
And it's just product of the time racing. We're all up on top of each other, and we're trying to get every little and protecting that right rear is really important. And then I needed to get up right there, so no blame to anybody. Our 10X Chevrolet was really, really fast. It was almost as fast as Xfinity Internet, but we were definitely missing a couple pieces here and there. But I think that next time we come around, we're going to be a lot better. Obviously, this is good practice for Daytona, so focus on that. We're going to go kick some butt next week.
Tough situation for Sam Mayer, even though the announcement.
All right, so Kvapil going to be the leader on the restart, it looks. Up towards the front of the field as well that stayed out of the pits. All in the outside lane for the restart are those 4. So that just goes to show how vital the outside lane is on the restart. That all of those cars took the top. Nemechek slides into the inside of row 1 to the bottom. But he does have fresher tires than those on the outside, so we'll see if that's going to play dividends here. Only about 6 laps of fresher tires, though, because that was when the last restart took place towards the end of stage 2. 61 laps left on this restart. Green flag back in the air following our 6th caution of the day. Carson Kvapil leads for the first time at Michigan. Back to green flag racing yet again. Good push on the bottom by Nemechek. Can he get clear with the 7, who is Kvapil's teammate, pushing him off into the first turn? Trying to get both those cars clear of the 88. The 7's going to be close. The 20 well out ahead. 7 is out in front. And those fresh tires in that inside lane with the great bump trap is going to work itself out beautifully. How about Cole Custer back in the top 10 with a damaged car? I didn't think that car had any sort of shot at getting back in the top 10, but his pit crew did a great job bandaging that car up as best as they can to try to keep the aerodynamic side of things going forward. He gets split 4 wide meanwhile. talking about Custer off the exit of turn 4. And Ryan Sieg with a bunch of duct tape, or bear bond tape, I should say, on the inside of his machine. Also in an incident, behind him at least. Caution flags out for the 7th time. A 3-car wreck. Daniel Dye, Lawless Allen, and one other car involved in the incident. Jeb Burton in the 27, I believe, was also involved. Second lap into the restart, we get another yellow. This one towards the back half of the field.
And a big accident here with 60 laps to go in the race.
Looks like we just got loose underneath him. Out of a 3.
There's the 27 and the 10. Jet kind of gets it going, though. He ends up spinning around in the grass. The 10, Daniel Dye doing nothing wrong. 3 wide top. 15 just gets loose. Bad air situation. You see him chasing the back. And then goes up the hill.
Sees part for the 97 and the 44 to get through.
Racing for about 16th position there.
And Jeff, you talk about this a lot over the last 10 years of covering this series. I think we've had to learn that, this is not the Cup Series. It's Xfinity Series. It's a feeder series. We see a lot of Cup stars come down and run this series, but it's for the younger drivers to learn. And when you see that mistake right there of Wallace Allen in the 15, where else do you get to experience this, right? 2-mile Michigan, not a lot of testing. That's not going to be learned in the simulator. You have to come out and get in these positions to fill that memory bank of experience. And it was just, 15 coming around a little bit.
Watch this riding along with Jeffrey Earnhardt. See what he's got to deal with. Did a good job. Yeah, Wallace, his most of his experience is in the Truck Series,
right?
And they run on large racetracks, but the cars are completely different than the trucks and the way they behave. And you're right. There's only one way to learn.
He was doing good early.
Today.
Not there. One mistake, that's all it takes.
Here. So the 15, Wallace Allen out of this race with 58 laps to go.
Yeah, we're still a long ways from the end in the grand scheme of things. Those laps can click by quickly on this fast racetrack in Michigan, but not the way the pace of this one has gone. Average speed only 100 miles per hour. Surprised it's even that much. As we're under caution for the 7th time in today's race, we're just barely past halfway. Really since that very first yellow, about lap 14, we've pretty much averaged a caution every 6 or 7 laps since. Not a lot of green flag racing here in this one today. Hopefully the things will change. There's still a lot of time for that to be the case. Still outside the fuel window, more than likely to make it to the end unless we just keep getting caution after caution. So a lot of drivers go those first 60 laps on fuel to start this race because of all the yellows we saw. 5 of those 7 cautions we've seen came in those first 60 laps. Allowed them to make it to the end of stage 2 before pitting. There were 10 cars that did not pit at all in the first 2 stages. They can make this a one-stop race the way things are going for the majority of this one, but it could be a one-stopper for some of those drivers that played that strategy out, which would end up being the best for track position, assuming that those handfuls of drivers stayed out of trouble, of course, and continue to stay out of trouble. Nemechek still held on to the lead on that restart. Or got to the lead, I should say, from the inside of row 1. Quapple slid back to 3rd. Teammate Justin Allgaier up to 2nd. Nemechek was my pick to win the race, so I still got a horse. Almost said a horse in the fight, a dog in the fight. I had the analogies mixed up there. Tomorrow's Cup Series race will be on the USA Network as well at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, I will be at the track in person for that one, so it'll be a race highlight video, multiple race highlight videos uploaded at the end of the night. Hopefully, in a minute or so, race highlight vid from the grandstands in that one, and then I'll also end up having some individual clips of the bigger moments of the race as well. That will be uploaded on the channel as soon as I get back. I'll begin my editing process on the way back, assuming I'm not driving one of the vehicles that we'll have there. Hours after the race.
Yep.
Are we get a good slot for the end of the race, or we kind of try? No, we're still 15 laps short to make it to the end of the race. I think if we get one or two more cautions, come down and do our stuff, and we'll be good to go for green light checkers.
Steve?
So he was last on pit road at 52, so 15 laps short. You know, the other leaders hit it 10 laps later, and I think they're going to try to stretch their tank. So I think what the 88's thinking is we're going to run a few more laps before we give up our track position to make sure that we can make it on fuel. Although the 7 of Allgaier is now saying 57 to go. We're going to draw a line. We're going to fill our tarp with gas here. That way we don't depend on any more yellows. Dave, gas to go for these cars?
There was a number of cars, as you say, who wanted to do this. Yes, as you see this fuel going in there, the Goodyear tires on that they had on there. Sieg is in as well, Marty.
Yeah, Ryan C coming down pit road. They actually had a piece of their bear bond they put on a moment ago, kind of come loose and start covering the grill. So they were having some overheating issues. They're also working on the left front for Ryan Sieg, who, as Jeff pointed out, made some pretty spectacular moves after that last restart, trying to get some track position. Also, Cole Custer comes in as the regular season championship leader. They have been struggling with a pretty large overheating issue at one point at 285 on that car. And they have trying to fix it right now. But here's the deal with Custer. He has really fallen back in the field. Came in with a 50-plus point lead.
Yeah.
Right now it's just plus 31 over the 7 car. So we'll have to see how this plays out for the rest of the race.
And that's what Allgaier pitting.
Double zero is, you know, with all that damage to ductwork, the air, you know, the basically the ducting trying to force the air through the radiator could be damaged. No pressure in that. It's going to be hard to cool the double zero.
A lot of work taking place on double zero. Again, caution coming out here for the 7th time, so we'll have restart. Return.
All right, so again, Nemechek out in front of the field. Quapple moves back into second with Allgaier pitting. We know Quapple's definitely going to have to pit before the end of the race. A few other drivers also going to have to pit here before the finish still. Although I will say all the drivers that stayed out of the pits during the stage end like Quapple did. I think all those cars actually did just come to pit road under this yellow, except for the 88. There were only 4 of them that stayed out entirely at that point in time. Another commercial break as we're under caution again for the 7th time today. You're listening live on KRC to the Cabo Wabo 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Michigan. Definitely a lengthier stream, lengthier race than what I was anticipating coming into this one. The abundance of cautions, half-hour delay at the start of the race for track drying after a storm washed out Cup qualifying earlier this afternoon, as well as, of course, again, delaying the start of this race a bit. And then we had about a 9-minute hold for red flag because of rain in the middle. Didn't lose the racetrack entirely, of course. Luckily, just a few wet spots NASCAR wanted to dry up from that quick pop-up sprinkle. Caro in the Wallow 250. I like that. I like that name.
Here with 54 laps to go, and a reminder coming up at 6 o'clock. Will be an NTT IndyCar Series racing. That's going to begin on CNBC, and it will join USA Network at the conclusion of this race for the Xfinity Series.
We saw a lot of cars come to pit road right there. I think they're trying to figure their few miles at the end of the race. But Jeff, little conversation on some radios about the radar.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that little bitty green dot is approaching. I think if you're, we talked about it earlier, Steve. I need to know that. I just need to understand the intensity that I need to bring to the race because of the potential rain and what other drivers are going to be doing.
All right, well, with that being the case, we'll see how things are going to go here. Still quite a bit of laps left, 55 remaining Green flag back in the air as Nemechek leads us back to the green in the Irish Hills. Sammy Smith inside of row 1 for the restart. Getting a good push on the bottom from Noah Gragson, but great coordination on the outside for now. Chandler Smith gets booted out of line by Austin Hill, who ends up 3 wide middle in the center of the corner. Hill was pushing well off into turns. Now he's in the middle groove. He's got his teammate Jesse Love behind him, but obviously not in the outside lane for the moment. Gregson was able to find a hold of the outside with the 81 and the 21, slowing each other down. A lot of 3x3 racing through turns 3 and 4. We'll see if they're able to make it off into turns 1 and 2. They are still very much 3x3 on the front stretch, couple rows deep at the moment. Anthony Alfredo, Parker Rutzlaff, both down in that bottom lane. Quapple was able to hold on, by the way, for second place of the restart. Nemechek cleared him initially off turn 2 on the opening lap there. Allgaier trying to fight his way back into the top 10. He was just on pit road. Left side's all the way down on the apron of the racetrack, trying to make a pass on Jesse Love. He's already worked himself up to about 11th. Great restart here for the 7 of Allgaier. Restart lane violation for Shane Van Gisbergen in the 22nd place position. Probably jumped out of line before getting to the start-finish line, I would assume, which is the result in the penalty. So he'll have to make a pass through. He actually gained a few positions on the restart to 19th. Can't move out of your lane until you hit the start-finish line on restarts. And because of doing that, again, pass-through penalty for SVG. He should stay on the lead lap. We'll see if he catches another yellow to catch back up with the pack at that point in time. It wasn't by much. I think he tried to time the restart out, and he timed it out a little early. It's definitely a 50-50 call, I feel, but NASCAR feels he still jumped out of line. The driver in the 97 in that situation. Leader's in the middle of 3 and 4 as he's on the apron in 1 and 2 right now, so he should get up to speed before they get there, even with the draft. Nobody to draft off of for the moment for SVG, so we'll see if he holds on. 50 laps to go in the race at the line, mostly single file through the top 10 positions. Your running order has John Hunter Nemechek in the lead by 1/10 of a second over Carson Quapple. Sammy Smith is in third, as he's 3/10 of a second back. 4/10 back is Noah Gragson at 4. Chandler Smith, 7/10 of a second back, as he is in fifth. Sheldon Creed, second off the lead in 6th, 1.2 seconds back. Taylor Gray in 7th. Austin Hill at 8th, 1.4 seconds back. Matt DiBenedetto in 9th, 1.9 seconds off the lead. And Jesse Love, 2 seconds off the lead in 10th. So that's the top 10 in the intervals between them following this restart in the early going still of Stage 3. If you're just tuning in for the first time here today, wondering how this race has gone, we'll go through a brief race update to this point. Sheldon Creed has led the most laps, 23 at the very start of the day. Nemechek fastly approaching him in that category as he's led 22. Your stage winners in this one. Ryan Sieg led for 7 laps, winning Stage 1. And Nemechek, who is our current race leader, won Stage 2. Other drivers to lead a lap in this race would include Riley Herbst, Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love led for 1, and Carson Quapple on the restart. Mostly during that caution led for a couple. 7 cautions total in the race. Back in Stage 1, a spin in Turn 2 for Taylor Gray. No contact there. No contact spin for Sheldon Creed off the exit of Turn 4, also in Stage 1. Then at the Stage 1 break at lap 30, we had a brief 9-minute weather hold for a slight rain storm. Didn't lose the track completely, which is why the red flag was only 9 minutes. Red flag was lifted. First lap following the restart, Austin Hill turns himself off the front bumper of the 88 in Turn 3. Slid through the grass, no major damage on Hill. He's back in the top 10. Then we had a yellow at lap 48, our biggest wreck of the day. 98 of Riley Herbst tried to clear high when he wasn't clearing the 39 of Sieg for about the 3rd place spot. Other cars collected. Brandon Jones, Sam Mayer, and Riley Herbst were all out of the race from that incident. Cole Custer and Ryan Sieg continue on with damage, and Custer actually just made an unscheduled stop during this green flag restart as well, so he is now, I believe, off the lead lap. Stage 2 ended lap 60, and then we had a wreck on the first lap of the third stage involving Lawless Allen, Jeb Burton, and Daniel Dye, as Dye and Allen are out of the race following that crash. Kyle Weatherman had a mechanical failure towards the end of stage 2 under green flag conditions, which has dropped him out of the race. Brennan Poole has dropped out of the race just into this last restart. He's off track 8 laps down. And Custer did return to the racetrack. As I mentioned, after making the unscheduled pit stop, they've had problems with the car overheating with the damage to the nose, disrupting the airflow through the race. Down 30 cars on the lead lap entirely, last of which SVG, who had a restart violation. When we went back to this last restart, so he's 34 seconds off of where Nemechek is on the racetrack. 80 laps complete at the Michigan International Speedway. Our current race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, has now led the most laps. Average race speed 100.58 miles per hour to this point. A little over an hour and a half into the race from the drop of the green flag to where we are now. And again, still about 45, 44 or so laps to go. Train of cars up in the top 10 positions at the front of the field. Allgaier, by the way, passed to Benedetto, as well as Jesse Love for 9th and 10th place recently. Still more rain showers kind of in the distance at the moment, but could be looming before the end of this race, so you just never know which lap will be the last at this rate. If we do get another rain shower, again, about 90 plus minutes to dry the racetrack. Under a circumstance, if we were to lose the racetrack, and we have a little less than 3 hours of daylight left at this point. Side-by-side commercial break on the USA Network. We'll go all the way through the running order this time during the break. Again, John Hunter Nemechek leads, Carson Kvapil second, Sammy Smith third, Noah Gregson fourth, and Chandler Smith in fifth. Sheldon Creed in sixth, Taylor Gray seventh, Austin Hill eighth, Jesse Love ninth, and Justin Allgaier 10th. Parker Kligerman 11th, AJ Allmendinger 12th, Matt DiBenedetto 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, and Kyle Sieg 15th. Ryan Segan 16th, Jeff Burton 17th, Jeremy Clements 18th, Jeffrey Earnhardt 19th, and Ryan Ellison 20th. Patrick Emmerle 21st, Josh Williams 22nd, Parker Retzlaff 23rd, Josh Bilicki 24th, Leland Honeyman 25th, Blaine Perkins 26th, 27th for Joey Gay, Cesar Baccarella 28th, Logan Bearden 29th, and Shane Van Gisbergen in last car in the lead lap at 30th. Cole Custer on track 3 laps down in 31st. Out of the race from 32nd on back would be Brendan Poole in 32nd, Daniel Dye 33rd, Lawless Allen 34th, Kyle Weatherman 38th today. We'll take another ad break. You're listening live to the Cabo Wabo 250 at Michigan. So that is all your mid-race updates to this point as we continue to stay green at the Michigan International Speedway. Matthew Dorter Bruno, thanks for tuning into the stream recently. Cup cars qualify already. They were supposed to, but qualifying was rained out earlier, so based off the metric system, Denny Hamlin will be on the pole for tomorrow's race. But they did get practice in earlier. Fastest in practice was Ross Chastain. Trackhouse car showing some speed out of the gate from the 2-week hiatus with the Olympics. Both cars finished top 10 last weekend. Chastain with the top 5. Suarez won a stage and finished 10th. And looking fast in Michigan this week, which they have been in the couple years of the next gen running there. So we'll see if Ross Chastain can maybe get the job done tomorrow. Carson Kvapil putting pressure on the race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, trying to get him arrow loose in the middle of turns 1 and 2. All over that back bumper, but never touched him. And Nemechek holds on to the lead now through the back straightaway. Kvapil pushing at this point, but remember, he is going to be well short on fuel to the end of the race. If we were to stay green the rest of the way, we may still see every other car pit. So maybe there's a chance that Kvapil is thinking, hey, if I push this 20 car hard right now, force him to having to pit before the end of the race as well, we could still be on a good strategy to win this thing. Still 40 laps to go. This thing stays green for another 5 to 8 laps or so. We'll already reach our longest green flag run, which isn't even that long at this point. Longest so far, only 14 laps. Kvapil going for the lead on the back straightaway. And clear into turn 3, and maybe Nemechek's going to drop behind him to save some fuel. We'll see if he remains in second. So the 88 car of Carson Kvapil now back in the lead. This will be his first green flag lap led of the day. Now Connor Zilic going to be taking over that 88 car full time in the Xfinity Series starting next season. He is yet to make an Xfinity Series start, if I'm not mistaken. But Kvapil definitely had a great showing of runs in that car this season, so it'll be interesting to see maybe down the line or if Kvapil can get a ride full-time at some point in the Xfinity Series JRM or somewhere else as well. Jesse Love got passed by Allgaier recently during that last commercial break for 9th place as well. Love has fallen a second off the 7. Really the first time we've seen the car start to spread apart a little bit now as we get longer into the green flag run and tires start to fall off just a bit. Last lap by race leader Carson Kvapil, 42.2 flat. Then a little quicker that last lap, 42.149. He's already pulled 0.7 of a second ahead of John Hunter Nemechek. Kvapil about 0.2 quicker than Nemechek that last lap. Fastest time of the day for Kvapil, a 41.524, so about 0.6 of a second from his fastest lap to where he's at right now. As far as green flag laps go on those tires, probably about 20 or so laps, give or take. Allgaier, by the way, up to 8th place now as he passed Austin Hill recently, and Justin Allgaier is moving through this field. Tanner Gray down to the bottom trying to make him pass on Gragson, so this is going to be an easy move to get to 7th now for the 7. Just keeps getting to the outside. Allgaier pit that last time by, so he's plenty good on fuel, so if others are trying to save, Allgaier knows he's good here. Maybe that's why he's able to make these passes look easy. Surprised Taylor Gray was able to stay in front of Allgaier that time through 3 and 4. Justin got to his outside on corner entry, but the 19 rather, able to hang on in front of the 7. Allgaier lost a little bit of time on the front stretch also. To watch him regain that momentum. Big line of cars though from Nemechek through Allgaier. 2nd through 8th only separated by 1 second from each other, while the race leader Kvapil has built up nearly that much, if not more of a race lead than that. And that pace is definitely dropping off for those guys trying to save fuel to the end. A 0.5 second faster was Kvapil that last lap, now a 1.4 second lead. All trying to save, again, from about 2nd on back. For the most part. There were other cars other than Allgaier that came and topped off during that last caution. Allgaier just much further up towards the front of the field than a lot of those other cars that were on pit road. I think Ryan Sieg was on pit road as well that time. Sieg is in 14th, of course, still carrying a bit of damage from that Herbst incident earlier. Again, the 7 to the outside of the 19. 2nd time. This time, though, he's clear into turn 3. So the 19 is just going to have to pull in line to the back bumper of the 7. And Allgaier still working. 34 to go here at Michigan. 2-second lead for Carson Kvapil. Pace car presented by Credit One Bank. Should give the pace vehicles more credit for the laps. It'd be drives a pace car now. Is it a rotating cast every week? I remember Jeff Bodine used to, or not Jeff Bodine, who was it? It was Brett Bodine, I think, used to drive the pace car for a while. Maybe it was Jeff. One of the Bodines. I think it was Brett there for a little while, and maybe it was Jeff afterwards. For anybody wondering about the NTT IndyCar Series at Gateway, it was supposed to begin at 6 p.m. Eastern. At the top of the hour, that will be moving over to CNBC until the conclusion of this race. Once this Xfinity race is done, then that will move over to USA. And again, we will have another stream yet later tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, NASCAR 07. As we'll be running a race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Cup Series. 50% race, so that'll be just a 250-mile race as well. And if we have a lot less cautions, that'll be a quicker race than what we have seen here today. Even check in by Kyle Weatherman, who is back on the racetrack following his mechanical issue earlier. Because that took place during green flag conditions, he was able to go to the garage and then return to the racetrack following the repairs. As a result of which, he's already passed Brendan Poole, Daniel Dye, and Wallace Allen in the running order. And can potentially surpass anybody else who may DNF between now and the finish of the race as well. If it doesn't happen in the final 20 laps, as he's still 21 laps down from the lead lap. So Allgaier in 6 is now on the back bumper of his teammate Sammy Smith. Great recuperation for Sammy. Got outscored in the stages today, 10 points rather to 0. And he came into this race only 3 points ahead of Brian Sieg, or behind Sieg, excuse me. So he's looking at potentially losing points that gap if Sieg finishes where he's running now, and Sammy Smith finishes where he's running. Sammy trying to get some of that back, maybe put himself in position to win this race. We know for a fact Quapple's going to have to pit for the lead, which is why he's just pushing hard, trying to extend his lead as much as he can right now. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of the pack. Allgaier almost clear of Chandler Smith for position. He got by Sammy Smith the last lap, but not going to get by Chandler as well. Drops back in line on the outside. Allgaier breaks back into the top 5. And Quapple's going to try to go as far as he can. He could get bailed out with a caution if rain hits the racetrack. Haven't talked about that in about 15 to 20 laps or so since the restart. But again, rain could loom on the finish of this race, as it's still in the general area of the Michigan International Speedway. So although Quapple's going to have to pit before the end, he probably wouldn't have to pit till the final 10, 15 laps. He could still go a little longer. 29 to go for the driver of the 88. Another reason why he's just pushing hard at this point. Build that lead up. Don't give him a chance to try to come back. About a second gap built up between Sammy Smith and Noah Gragson. They're about 1.1 seconds apart from each other in 6th and 7th place. Sheldon Creed trying to make a pass on his teammate Chandler Smith for position. Back straightaway. Can he complete the pass into turn 3, though? He will. And Chandler gets a little arrow loose in the center of 3 and 4 with Allgaier on his back bumper. They lose ground to the 2 cars ahead of him, but Justin could not slide up and follow the 18 car on by. Shane Van Gisbergen, I think, just went a lap down at the hands of Quapple. SVG drafting now behind the 88 car, as he remains the first car 1 lap down at the time being. The only car 1 lap down if we were to get another quick caution. Most positions gained since the restart goes to Jeb Burton, who's actually involved in the most recent caution. He's gained 15 spots back, 13 for Clements, and 9 apiece for Sieg, Allgaier, and Creed. So Sheldon Creed moving forward just like the 7. Not sure when the last time Creed has been to pit road, though. I don't think it was as recent as Allgaier. Sure to hit the like button on the stream if you guys have not done so yet as well. We are sitting at 41 likes currently, so let's try to get to 50 here before the end of the stream. And our goal of 50 likes for this one. 9 away, 27 laps to go. Chandler Smith trying to go back after Sheldon Creed for position. Couldn't even get underneath him that time. Just like in practice times yesterday. Up at the front of the field, you got 3 JGR Toyotas. They've all found each other even after a couple spins earlier in the day. 2nd through 4th right now. If we do make it to the end without any rain issues here, this would be the race for the win, as Quapple, we know, still has to pit. He's going to push it as long as he can, hoping for rain at this point, as he's got, again, about a 2.6 second lead. But the gap is very tight between 2nd through 6th in the running order, only separated by 0.6 of a second. All trying to run slightly different lines, keep each other in clean air, keep the momentum up. A little bit of drafting help. JRM Chevys on the apron of the racetrack, working together to get by Chandler Smith. Great teamwork done there. Allgaier made a move to the bottom off turn 4. The 8 went down to the apron to bump draft the 7, took the shortest route, stayed away from the side draft, and kept the drafting up to make the pass. And Sheldon Creed, speaking of making a pass, is closing in on John Hunter Nemechek. I think Creed's got the fastest car of the JGR Toyotas, hence the reason he qualified on the pole. 10 career second place finishes for Creed in the Xfinity Series, still no win. A few second place finishes already here in 2024. $6 p.m. Eastern now, so that IndyCar race is coverage just beginning now on CNBC. Xfinity race coverage again will continue on the USA Network to the finish. Any post-race interviews you get on the USA Network, we will get to listen into those live. Of course, we'll get from the race winner. Not sure that we'll get many with the race going past the scheduled air window here. Beyond that, but we'll see. Joey Gase also has gone a lap down during this green flag run. A couple other cars at the tail end of the lead lap right in front of the leader. So lap traffic could end up playing a factor here on this battle for the eventual race win between the 2018 and the 7, who are all kind of pulling away. Sammy Smith still hanging on there. He's not out of it yet. He's trying to hang with Allgaier. I don't think he's as quick, but he's still hovering in the right place at the right time if things go his way. So Creed and Sammy Smith up in the top 5 and still winless this season, running for Xfinity Series points in a championship. Only 4 spots available for the playoffs at the moment. It's a current tie as we run between Sieg and Smith. Again, Sieg outscored Smith in the stages by 10. But Sammy Smith in that, it looks like 7 positions at the moment. Allgaier to the inside of Creed. This is for 3rd. Side by side, back straightaway. Sammy Smith going to go with his teammate. They're going to try to do what they did to the 81, which is try to bump draft their way on by. Allgaier not clear, though, in the middle of 3 and 4. Sheldon Creed trying to get a pole off the 20. Big run by Creed on the outside. He clears the 7. Carries the momentum. He's got a run after Nemechek, but he's not going to try to go for it. He's going to be patient and stay in line behind him. I think he was scared that if he didn't make the pass there, Allgaier was probably going to get around him, and I think his big goal right now is to keep the 7 behind him. He's going to be tougher to pass more than likely than the 20, based off the speed of the race cars from this front group of cars. The 20 backs up any slower, though, at the same time. 18's going to have to try to pass him. Joey Gase slow on the apron in the backstretch. We'll see if he gets back to pit road. He's just getting into turn 3 right now at a slow rolling pace, but not completely slow to the issue of warning and caution. He's definitely down on power, but I think he'll make it back. 19 to go as we stay green here. Gase does make it into the pits. Good to see. We stay green. Again, this is our longest green flag run of the day. Stretching over 30 laps now. More than doubling our current second longest green flag run of the day before this, which was, again, the first 14 laps I went caution-free at the start. Glad to see this all playing out. Quapple's getting held up in lap traffic, too, because this 2.6 second lead has now gone down to 1.8 seconds. But again, he is more than likely short on fuel to the finish, which is why they've shown this battle for second, which has been intense most of this green flag run. Creed gets arrow loose in 3 and 4. Allgaier got to the back bumper of the 18, never touched him. But trying to make the textbook pass that we've seen several drivers do throughout the day. Side drafting each other down the backstretch. The 8 of Sammy Smith is closing in again. Couldn't give a push to the back of the 7, though. Allgaier trying to stay tight on the door. Now he gets loose. Allgaier oversteps the corner. Sammy Smith's going to try to push him here on the front stretch. He's not going to try to go for the pass. He's going to work together again. A lot of ground lost for Justin Allgaier that time. And a great job by not washing up into the 18 to his outside. Hard racing going on there. Clean racing at that. And good racing. I think he just lost the side force with the 18 on the door there, and that's what caused him to get loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Again, great job not making contact with the car who's outside. Definitely had to lift. Lost a lot of momentum, and a smart job by Sammy Smith just kind of drafting with him. Allgaier now to the outside of the 18. That's going to be the textbook pass he needed. Allgaier moves to third, finally passing Sheldon Creed with 17 to go. And he is fastly approaching the 20 of Nemechek and gets to his outside in the center of turns 3 and 4. Nemechek closely in line behind him, Allgaier to second. 2 seconds off the race lead. The 18 giving the 20 a bump draft on the backstretch, trying to get him back to the inside of Allgaier, but Allgaier protects the bottom through 3 and 4. So Allgaier might be in prime position for the race win here. Quaffle coming to pit road, 16 to go at the line. Allgaier leads at Michigan. Custer down on pit road again as well. He's made several pit stops to try to cool the engine just to make it to the finish at this point. He has passed Joey Gase, who is now off the racetrack after being slow. Splash and go there for the 88. Just enough fuel to make it to the end. Should stay on the lead lap. Jesse Love also down to the pits. So this is where the fuel mileage game comes into play here. Allgaier's got the most fuel in his car of those at the very front of the field because he was the most recent to pit. So he's just on the gas pulling away. As the 2018 of the 8 continue to try to save second through fourth in the running order. 15 longer laps to go here at Michigan. 4-tire stop for Jesse Love. He's going to go a lap down.
Short on fuel still. It's all about managing the fuel. Now that you've given up the lead, or the lead was taken away, you didn't really give it up. It's taken away by 7. It's Jim Pullman, crew chief for the 7. Just a great strategy call, putting more fuel on the 7, commit to the strategy, and then Allgaier on that restart, getting track position right away, and then executing the plan that his crew chief. It's easy to say push hard, but there's a lot of other cars that came at 69 that have been unable to do this. Allgaier fast enough to go up and take the lead.
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Seeger in the top 10. They also pitted the same lap as Justin Allgaier, so they have just as much fuel in it as he does, though they are running 9th and 10th, 7 and 13 seconds off the lead behind the 7, so they're not really going to catch him without a yellow. Also on that same strategy, Jeb Burton in 13th place, who of course was involved in the last incident, so obviously topped off on fuel there, and it might work out for him as well. He makes it, and everybody else that is trying to stretch the window that pitted about 7 laps or so after them. Now most of those laps are under caution though too, so I wouldn't doubt that the 7 is completely safe, but maybe trying to build up a little bit more of a lead first, knowing that he is more safe or closer to being safe than the cars behind him. Sheldon Creed making a pass for second on Nemechek there, getting into turn 1. Mostly down the front stretch. The 20 is really dropping that pace off. He was leading this line of cars for the majority of this run. Through all the cars that have gone a lap down during this green flag run, SVG still remains first car 1 lap down in 28th. Jesse Love on 4 fresh tires after his last pit stop is in 29th. Still don't know why they took 4 tires on that 2 car. 88 took fuel only. He's still on the lead lap. And he actually cycled out in 20th, so he's still got a handful of cars on the lead lap behind him yet as well. Should have more pace, more speed than them. Sheldon Creed trying to close on the race leader. Creed about a 10th quicker. Maybe he was saving just enough, and now maybe the crew chief's telling him, hey, go. You have enough fuel to make it to the end. Creed has definitely pulled away from John Hunter Nemechek and Sammy Smith, but he has caught up to the lap car, Shane Van Gisbergen, and he'll draft with him on the front stretch. And look to make the pass on SVG through 1 and 2. Creed is clear barely. off the exit of the corner. Still half a second back. That was quick work that he had to make of Van Gisbergen. A lot of lap traffic coming up in front of the 7 car. A lot of battles for position in that lap traffic as well. This thing is not over yet. It looked like the 7 was just going to kind of run and hide. Sheldon Creed in second place. He's had a good day other than the spin earlier, but we know he had a fast car coming in because he qualified on the pole. He's shown great pace in the race. He's not saving, and he's trying to close on the 7. He's definitely close enough to getting the draft down the straightaways on him. I haven't seen the 7 try to break the draft yet. Down to 9.5 laps to go at the Michigan International Speedway. Battle for third between Sammy Smith and John Hunter Nemechek. Smith to the inside. And clear off turn 4. Nemechek falls to 4th. Gregensen still camping out in the top 5 as well. Caution is out. Caution is out. 8th time today. And I think it may be for rain. Oh, car in the wall. Sorry. Kyle Weatherman hard in the wall. Right side of his car is pancaked, and he's getting out quickly. I think there might have been a fire or something. He is out very quick and very ginger as well. And hopefully Weatherman's all right. It definitely looks like he had a hard hit into the wall as he's trying to catch his breath. They're climbing out of his race car very quick. Middle of the corner, the car just went up the track and then caught fire. Violent hit right in the middle of the corner. Snapping right. Tough to tell if that was a tire or some sort of a mechanical failure. Again, he had a mechanical issue earlier in the day, which dropped him 20 laps down. That got the repairs made at the time, brought him back into the race, and maybe the car had broke down again, but this time at full speed. And Weatherman will be taking a trip to the infield care center. Hopefully he is okay, and it's just the wind knocked out of him from that pretty violent hit into the wall. So this caution comes with 9 coming on 8 to go as the leaders are crossing the line. It's going to allow for a lot of those cars that were saving fuel to save more fuel. This is not going to be an overtime restart situation, but if we get another caution after this, that will lead us to overtime at that point. So we'll have to keep that in the back of our mind.
Smack of the right rear. That really hurts.
And again, the safer barriers, that styrofoam that's behind the steel wall, it's supposed to give a little bit of movement to the wall so that the car and tires don't have to take the full brunt of the force.
Sounds like it's done for the safety of these race cars, but when you're going these speeds,
Still trying to put the fire out
no
in the
way to
91.
take the pain away from it. To limit it. You can't eliminate it.
Interesting situation here. Turning back to the leaders. 8 to go. Rain closing in. Dark clouds above the racetrack. Really, until we saw the car on the wall, I wondered if that was for rain.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So now you would have to think that you see the racetrack right there.
I really hope we don't get rain. We only got 7 laps left.
I would imagine the guys. So it's a question. The caution's helping you save gas, but are we looking at a standard race length or are we going to go past the end of the race? I don't know how long it's going to take to get that car towed back in.
Hopefully it's quickly.
Right? If you're Sammy Smith, you talked about the point battle that he's in. Can he afford to stay out here and potentially run out of fuel?
We're going to take a quick break and come back with a restart here at Michigan.
No, I don't think they're going to pit. Nobody in the top half of the field at the very least should hit pit road. Track positions meant way too much in this race today. Tires haven't had too much of an advantage, even with these Xfinity cars, which in any series seems to be the series of the top 3 in NASCAR that it tends to make the most difference. But yeah, only 6-7 tenths of a fall off over the course of a full run at this point. So nobody's going to pit for tires. The draft is just the key here in this one. So again, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, that battle for the lead was kind of heating up there and taking the wall very hard. in turns 1 and 2. Parts failure of some sort there. And hopefully Weatherman is okay. He did get out of his car under his own power, but was walking very gingerly.
It's out for the wreck in turn number 2. Kyle Weatherman, but a little bit of sprinkles in the area.
Oh, no.
They're continuing to clean up the accident in turn number 2. Could rain cause this race to be shortened? Pit road is open. Will anyone come?
I don't think the leaders. I think they've all made their strategy on fuel. The question is, do you think we'll continue against see overtimes, or will the rain end it? Can't really tell who that first car was. Chandler Smith, Ryan Sieg surprisingly coming to the road. And Parker Kligerman, Marty.
Yeah, you see Chandler Smith, Ryan Sieg coming down pit road, also Parker Kligerman as well. In fact, Matt Noyce was fairly committed to coming down pit road here with 6 laps to go so far in the race. And he said, we're going to drag everybody else with us. And then they were surprised when the 81 popped out in front of them. I think all of these cars are having trouble with handling. In fact, Chandler Smith in the middle of this run told Jeff Bandering, his crew chief, hey, if we get a caution, I want 4 tires. The handling completely gone for me. So we'll see how far back these guys restart with these fresh Goodyears, and certainly fuel to make it to the end. And even for an overtime is what they need to get track position.
So, Rick, if we're lucky enough to mix this weather, multiple overtimes, they could be in great shape.
Commercial break with 6 laps to go. As of right now, still under cleanup in turns 1 and 2 at the 91, who again pancaked the wall hard. Bringing out this late race caution with less than 10 laps to go. This is not going to be an overtime restart situation. We should have at least a few laps left on this restart, but if we were to get another caution after that, we will go past the scheduled distance. And still rain looming on the finish of this race as well. Can Justin Allgaier hold it on? He's got 2 guys behind him, still trying to look for the first win of the season and look for a playoff spot. Sheldon Creed looking for his first career win in second yet again. 50 at Michigan on KRC. $44 likes on the stream so far. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Again, our goal is to get to 50. We got well more than that many people watching currently. So again, be sure to hit that like button if you have not done so yet. Our goal is to get to 50 likes. And again, a reminder, I will be at Michigan for the Cup race tomorrow. So there will be no live commentary for that one. I'll still get my pre-race predictions in. I'll post them up on the community tab when I get that all situated, either late tonight or tomorrow morning before I leave. So you'll still have my full predictions for the race at the very least. Fantasy advice there. Free pass goes to Shane Van Gisbergen, by the way, with this caution. So he's back on the lead lap at 28th. He could top off especially. Lights are still on the pace car with 5 to go. We'll see if we get the 1 to go this time, which will lead us to 3 laps left on the restart.
Out front, it's Allgaier. Does he have enough fuel? Has he saved enough? He had the most of the guys he was racing against, which includes Sheldon Creed running second.
But he also didn't look like he saved it all.
John Hunter Nemechek is 4th, Gregson 5th, Taylor Gray 6th, Austin Hill 7th. All of them came to pit road at 62, where Allgaier was on pit road at 69.
Well,
Again,
big fun up here. This infield is
Big.
underrated at how fun it is. Good party crowd. I'll tell you something, guys. Talk about this weather.
No, a couple people. Oh, we got sprinkles.
Directly toward turns 1 and 2, and that's going to change the way these cars drive.
We have sprinkles.
oh boy.
Oh, no.
Adding some laps. That's the northern part of this track.
Oh, no.
Green hitting. So as it is going through, we'll see how much precipitation comes down if they lose the track.
Well, if you're all got the track's soaked, if you're Creed, track's fine. But, you know,
This would be a wet fart of a finish. Almost literally.
Track's drop.
You're right, Steve. I mean, everybody has a different mentality as far as how wet this racetrack is.
We see the 8 on the flat. We're reading Sammy Smith has seen some low fuel pressure. So you see right here, Justin Allgaier, 24 wins in the series going for the 25th.
Yeah, trying to get Jeff hurt. He wants to catch that
When he makes
27.
you get to like present the trophy at 27, like, hey, here you go.
I think Kyle Busch could present the trophy at 1, but I don't think that. Yeah.
So I was saying we saw the 8 on the flat. He's reporting some low fuel pressure. So remember, this is kind of the old style fuel cells. We've talked a lot about the fuel cells of the Cup cars. Well, these Xfinity cars have basically a pickup in the right rear corner, a box. It has trap doors. The fuel goes in there and it doesn't really come out. But the design is as you run in a circle, kind of like spinning a 5-gallon bucket, on a rope, the water stays in it or the fuel stays in that right rear corner. But under these speeds on the banking, the fuel actually falls to the left because gravity takes over. So going down on the banking, on the flat, swerving, trying to get fuel back over into that pickup.
What's interesting is the 18 and the 20 on the same number of laps on fuel, they don't feel the need to do that.
I'm just not sure how many we're going to get. One guy steps on the throttle and he's low fuel. He gets spun out. We've seen this multiple times. I mean, at Nashville,
They're not giving him the 1 to go, which means it will be overtime.
Joey
Damn.
Logano survived, I don't know how many of these things and ran forever on a fuel tank in the Cup Series. 5 overtimes that day.
The positive to these cautions, it's running, more laps on the caution, less fuel burned. However, now you just open the door for an overtime finish, which could potentially add laps. So you just don't know how that's going to work out.
Marty, what about Creed?
Well, for what it's worth, Rick, it has stopped raining here on pit road, and a lot of conversation on Sheldon Creed's radio about where to choose if they ever get to that point. NASCAR adding another caution lap here. We'll see if they're coming to the choose this time. His teammates,
Tough decision.
John Hudson and Taylor Gray have said, hey, we'll go low if you want us to go low, but they also know that the top has been dominant today in terms of restarts. So, Jeff, what would you take? Would you take your teammates' word for it? Hey, we'll help you out, or would you go to the top side on this restart?
If they're going to go with me, I'm going to have to go to the bottom. I just don't know that I can win from starting behind the 7. I also think it's just a bad situation to be in. If you do think the top has been better all day, maybe you fear the inside line, maybe you get some help, and you can make that move on the 7 car. And it's a very tough call. The bottom has worked to come to such a great push on the top. And remember, if they pick the bottom, Sammy Smith's going to pull up behind Algar, and that's his teammate. But by this, look at this
Hey.
right here.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
turn 4.
I can't see him going again.
That was turn 4, and we could see the raindrops hitting the camera on Austin Hills United Rentals on.
So much for the rain stopping, Marty Snyder.
Well, these are all the debates that the tower comes into question because, do they think stopping is it get too wet to stop the cars?
It's raining right
Yeah.
now. That's not a sprinkle, but
Dang.
there's enough time to stop them.
Hate that this happens so late in the race like this.
Get going again. And looking at the time of day, knowing that 8:20 is already the official kind of end of the race and being this close, I think if the track changes color, a 2-mile racetrack, I would be shocked that we're going to see a dry. So I think any rain at this point, we're already in overtime.
Right.
So, I mean, red flagging here, you would think would be ending the race.
They're going to bring us to
Should.
the pit road. We're being told by NASCAR. This time by.
I know the 18 wants a shot to win, but I think there's a bunch of cars behind the 18 that would be okay with just ending it. I've seen so many cars on the flat. I'm not sure how many think they can make it on fuel.
Sammy Smith being one of them. We keep talking about the race to try to make the playoffs. He and Ryan Sieg in a very tight battle. He would roll out of here with a 3rd place finish.
And if you're Ryan,
I think they have to end it here.
You're frustrated because you came to pit road, and then the weather got you. But I mean, everybody had the radar. We knew the rain was close. The fact that they knew exactly when it was going to rain, I don't want a lot more races, Rick.
You got to have the right weather app. So take another look at the radar. Again, just a really small cell that's passing through here. But if it's enough, if it puts enough precipitation and moisture on this racetrack, then they have to get the jet dryers out. That's going to take quite a bit of time. You mentioned it, Steve. It's a 2-mile racetrack. The sprinkles still coming down on the 21 as they're on pit road now.
And to be honest, this has not been. There's been a lot of precipitation in the area that's not even on the radar. So
It looks wet to me. It looks like turn 4 has gotten wet. Like they've lost the turn 4. They're going to have to dry that for sure. the front straightaway part of it as well. The track's hard to tell, to be honest. It's the color of it is difficult to tell when it's wet versus dry, but I feel like turn 4 is wet.
This time they stopped the entire field before the start finish line, even on pit road.
So we're hearing they feel like they have not lost the racetrack.
AMR safety crew will go out on track. The red flag has come out. NASCAR's going to go out, take another look at the track. This is a great call as far as those that were worried about fuel. So instead of rolling around here to make that decision, stop on pit road. Go out, see if the track needs to be clean. If turn 4 is so wet that it needs to be dry, you guys are seeing that line there.
Well, once again, I thought that was like a dry area up by the wall because the angle of the wall, but now I'm wondering if that isn't just the tire rubber, the groove.
Well, that's where they put the resin down.
Yeah.
Trying to create a third, fourth lane. That that 2 lanes. That's what that is.
Too bad Parker's in the race because he's our wet
Yeah, he can tell.
asphalt expert. We could have sent him out there and look at it.
I'll start to laugh now.
No, well, just remember the NASCAR officials who are going to make the determination whether this can be dried or not. They're in basically the tower next to us, so they struggle to see the condition of the track no different than us. That's why the pace car, other safety vehicles can go out, look at the surface, determine what it looks like.
Well, we're going to chat with the 7 of Justin Allgaier, and I'm pretty sure he's going to say that it is so wet, there's no way they should be allowed to go back out on the track.
Well, they're talking amongst themselves right now, so we're going to give them plenty of room. All right, we're good now. Hey, Justin, it's the guys in the USA booth. You with us?
Yeah, buddy, go ahead.
Well, great job there getting by all those guys to get the lead. Now you got to wait the weather out. What does the track look like to you?
Well, truthfully, Jeff, I couldn't see the track because the windshield's pretty wet. Obviously, regardless of the outcome here, just proud of this type of team. Our helmets may have missile that we've been calling it all week. It's just that. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to drive this thing today. We passed a lot of cars. We passed the inside and the outside. We've done all the right things. I don't know that we're as fast as Xfinity Internet down the straightaway, but we're definitely hauling through the corners. And hats off to Jim Bowman and his whole 7 team. I mean, we went to Indy. We're happy with it, and these guys have busted their tails to come back here with a semi package. And I'll be in a different racetrack and put us in the catbird seat this last restart.
Well, we appreciate you taking time. We'd be interested to watch how you pull this thing off if you get going again. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of hungry race car drivers behind me, so they're going to be pushing, but hopefully experience will play out here. We can put ourselves in a good spot. So hopefully you guys are having fun up there in the booth. The fans at home are enjoying it. I'm going to go give them a good show.
We always have fun up here.
Yeah, well, he talked about hungry drivers behind him. There's one that's probably as hungry as any driver possible to get a win, and that's the guy that's right behind him, with Sheldon Creed in the 18. I mean, he's finished second 10 times and has yet to win a race, and now there's one right in front of him, really close, an opportunity.
What I did like about Allgaier there is, he wasn't kind of positioning or begging for this thing to end. Like, he's mentally still in the game, ready to go restart if that's what it's going to take.
By the way, the 91 driver Kyle Weatherman has been checked and released from the infield care center.
That's good.
Let's check in now with Marty.
Yeah, good to see that Kyle Weatherman is walking away from the infield care center. Let's check in with Sam McCauley, the crew chief for Sheldon Creed. So this is what you wanted, a shot to be able to race for it. How, though, is your fuel situation? Number one, not only for this first potential overtime, but maybe subsequent overtimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tight. We're in a similar boat to most of the guys. The 7's in a little better position than us, but we feel like we can make it at least one green light checkered, and we'll see from there. I mean, we really want to win the race, and that's what we're here to do. And I'm just really proud of these guys. I mean, to come back from the spin, Sheldon did a great job not getting any damage, and our car's really fast. I think we can race the 7, and I hope we get to put on the show.
All right, so how about this choose on this restart? A lot of talk on your radio. Tony Hirschman's been chiming in as well. Are you thinking you would rather him go low and use the teammates, or would you rather go high behind what you think will be the 7?
I mean, ultimately, we're going to leave it up to Sheldon, but, I think the top's been strong, and we've seen guys, even the top 3, all take top. So, we'll leave it up to him, but we're just going to give him all the information on Hunter and Taylor back there to kind of hopefully go with us if we make a run, and we'll just race it on.
You can hear the jet drivers on the racetrack. How are your nerves? You doing okay up here?
All right, yeah. Just ready to go racing.
All right, he's been through this a lot, Rick, as the lead engineer for Denny Hamlin for a long time. A lot of race wins, but Steve, you know this. It's a little bit different when you're sitting in the crew chief seat, isn't it?
Oh, I had a lot of opinions on what we should do or could do until it was my turn to be the guy talking on the radio. And then you get just a little bit, not more nervous, but you realize kind of the buck stops with you. You have to make the decision. But I agree, all that experience in the Cup Series, helping Denny Hamlin go to so many victory lanes. Joe Gibbs Racing does have a great system. We talk a lot about drivers because they're the stars, and that's who gets focused on as they come up through the ranks. But it takes great crew members, great crew chiefs, great engineers. And when a company like Joe Gibbs Racing, they do a great job of kind of promoting from within and grooming this talent.
You see, when the jet dryer goes, the gray gets lighter after it has been through there. So they are trying turns 3 and 4 right now, hoping to get the restart in overtime here in Michigan.
Not gonna lie, this seems a little overtime restart even after a slight rain delay. Like you would think, it's like, all right, we've already gone past the scheduled distance at this point. And we just had a brief rain shower go through, and you had to pull the cars on the pit road for a red flag period. Like, why are we waiting like 10, 15 plus minutes to get these last 2 laps? I just don't see this going right for Justin Allgaier. This is just shaping up to not go right for him, I feel. Like, this is a Justin Allgaier way to lose a race, potentially. We saw how desperate Austin Hill was for a win, so maybe Sheldon Creed will be desperate this week at Michigan. Maybe not to the extent of that, but... I mean, you gotta figure, even if it doesn't grant him a playoff spot, he's pretty much already in the playoffs on points. Should be. Figured he still gets credited with the win. In the record book, so... Maybe. I mean, if the precedent is set already. Be a cheap way to win your first race, but one guy in the Cup Series didn't care last week. Maybe nobody cares this week. We got a rainbow.
You always see the bright spot with the rainbow, and we're seeing that right now off to the east. Sun shining at some of the places around the racetrack as folks are out there on the back deck with Jerry's. So as they are continuing to dry the track in turns 3 and 4, let's listen to Dale Jarrett, who's very, very knowledgeable about what it takes to get that first win, as he had 10 second place finishes, just like Sheldon Creed is in that same position right now.
Some say finishing second hurts more than finishing last, and Sheldon Creed has known that pain all too well. In the past 21 months, Creed has 10 runner-up Xfinity finishes, and they've come in every way imaginable. He has slammed into teammates in last lap battles for the lead. He has made the wrong split-second decision in the Daytona drag, road course, short tracks, and speedways. He's lost at them all.
Man, I wish that would have worked. Unbelievable.
Even a change of scenery this year from Richard Childress Racing to Joe Gibbs Racing has not changed his luck. 3 more second-place finishes in 2024.
All right, there's there.
But there's good news for Creed. The 2 men he has tied for the dubious distinction of most Xfinity second-place finishes without a win went on to win championships in NASCAR. After breaking my Xfinity winless drought, I went on to a Hall of Fame career and a Cup championship. Daniel Hemrick broke through for his first Xfinity win in the same race he claimed the title. So chin up, Sheldon. When you get over this hump, it'll all be downhill from there.
I mean, uphill.
The win here would be big right now. Without that first Xfinity Series win. But again, a reminder, today the announcement was made that he'll race for another team. So 3 different teams in 3 years for Sheldon Creed, because next year he'll be with Haas Factory Team.
Interesting.
you know, it's a bit of cliche, but we've always said, Jeff, or at least I've always said, you know, it's hard to win from 15th, from 10th. When you see guys kind of ascend that mountain in their career, you see them inside the top 15, then the top 10, then the top 5. Well, no one has done it more consistently than this 18 car without finding the top of the mountain. And you just wonder, while he kind of seems to be okay when he talks about it, when that monkey finally jumps off his back, when he finally breaks through victory lane, it could spark quite the run, right? It wouldn't shock me if the first win turns into many in a row or many in a month.
And again, a reminder, the NTT IndyCar Series right now at Worldwide Technology Raceway, they are on CNBC now. And at the conclusion, there you see the live shot of that race taking place. At the conclusion of this race, which the sun is out now, the track is dry. It'll be 3 laps potentially if there's not a second overtime. But at the conclusion, let's dial up the driver of the year.
Mercedes Smith running third. See what he's got on his mind. Hey, Sammy, USA booth, you got us?
Yep, I got you guys.
All right, sitting there third. What's your game plan?
Well, man, hopefully we can get the front row here, have a good restart, and race all out, and hopefully we have enough gas. That's the biggest thing right now. Is felt like we hopefully saved enough for that green flag run. Hopefully we don't run too many caution laps here once we get going, so we have enough fuel.
Do you think the Toyotas, you got 3 right in front of you, you think there's a chance that he's going to go line up the high now, guy, or do you think he'll take the bottom?
I'm not sure. I feel like he probably will take the bottom just with having a green-white checkered here. And it's been a good day, though, for all-state Peterbilt JRM team. We had that right rear go down, and feel the rebound is good. So we just need to close it out here.
All right, bud. We're here. The track's not that far away, so we're going to leave you alone and let you get back to work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, the sun's shining now on the racetrack. And so the jet dryers are making their way back to turn 1, where they will park. And hopefully very soon we'll hear them fire the engines back up.
So think about Sammy Smith. 20 years old. He won early last year. Won at Phoenix, hasn't won since. Moved over to Junior Motorsports. Hasn't been the success they hoped it would be. A lot of racing left to go this year, and it's sitting right there in front of him. You win this race today, locks you in the playoffs, and although it hadn't, the year hadn't gotten off to a good start, that would fix it all.
We'll continue. Tomorrow's schedule starts off with Pro Motocross from Budds Creek at noon. Then countdown to green at 2 o'clock, 2:30. Cup Series Racing. And again, reminder, we're embedded with Ross Chastain and Harrison Burton Stage 2 for tomorrow's Cup race.
Well, Chastain racing, trying to get himself in the playoffs. He was very fast in practice today. He's going to be fun to follow.
And now let's see what Jim Pullman is up to. Marty's down there on the pit box with him.
Yeah, let's chat with him as driver Justin Allgaier in the lead as of right now. So when you made this grand plan at lap 69 to come down pit road, did you have overtimes factored into that?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I think we're good for 1. I don't know about 2, so hopefully get back to the white flag on this one.
So let's talk about Justin Allgaier and Michigan. Crazy, all the things he's done in his career. He's never won here. Where would a win at Michigan kind of rank for both of you?
Pretty high right now. We where we're at points and what we're fighting for this regular season be pretty good. Cole's had some trouble today, so it'd be pretty big for today. The Chevy Camaro's been really good, and proud of all these guys. Proud of Justin and Eddie up there. They've done a good job of fighting through some adversity. It hasn't been the fastest car down the straightaway, and that's due to our body and the way we built our car. And we're just really proud of the Hendrick Motor Shop. Just want to point out how good a horsepower they've had, as well as our pit crew. So just proud of everybody here on the Chevy team, Chevy Mayo team.
How do you want Justin to play this restart here? Do you want him to try and find the 8, work with him as best he can? I know he's going to take the top, obviously, but what if the other cars, as the car's 5 here, by the way, how do you want him to play this restart?
Yeah, for sure. We need to find the 8. As a JRM teammate, we need to try and help him get in to the playoffs and get him a win. Obviously, we want to win ourselves, but always looking for your Chevrolet teammates and your JRM teammates. So hopefully they can link up and stay connected for a little bit and get out front.
There you go. And the car's fired, Rick. Maybe that's the best news of all. Looks like we'll get a full distance finish here at Michigan.
About a 15-minute red flag there, and they are able to turn stream forward very quickly to the delight of the fans here in the grandstands. They want to see this one end under green.
It's going to be an interesting one with so many cars low on fuel. That makes these restarts just always so crazy.
The other thing is you got some guys like Parker Kligerman, Chandler Smith, Ryan Seed. They pitted on lap 119. So they're going to be trying to make some stuff happen coming from the back. And how many times have we seen a caution create another caution and create another caution? It's going to be
Too many to count, Jeff. Too many to count.
Hill, they were saving fuel just coming off pit road.
You see them. The fans are getting excited. These cars are on the flat. They're making sure they get as much fuel. Because that's really the thing. A, do you have enough fuel in principle? But B, is it in the right location in the fuel cell? When you go to wide open throttle on the restart, you're asking for instant fuel delivery, instant fuel pressure. Just a little air bubble in that system, or just an air pocket, or just a little bit of miss could be disaster.
And it's funny you said that because so many times we see cars on low fuel. The crew chief will say, "Hey, we got a couple laps left," and they go to drop the green flag, and the car won't go. It runs out of fuel. You talked about the fuel going into that pickup box, and I mean, it is not unusual in these types of situations to have a crash on the front straightaway because somebody just doesn't get going.
And it seems counterintuitive, Rick, but it used to be a procedure we would go through. So you come around, take the choose coming down the backstretch, swerve to make sure you fill the box, but then actually any sort of bubble, just make sure that the system is fully ready to go. Now, while it does burn a little extra fuel, it also makes sure that the fuel's there when you're ready to ask for it.
This will be the choose as they come by this time. They're going to know next time by they will get the green flag.
What makes this even more of a challenge is the way this package races with reduced power. If you line up and you get great start, the guy is gone, you're done right there, and they're going to be going by you. That's why who lines up in front of who right here is a major point.
And right away, we see Creed follow the 7 up to the top.
Seeing how low the 8 is on fuel, I think that's better for Allgaier. My fear was that the 8 was going to line up behind him as a teammate and run out of gas. Like they kind of leave him sitting.
He got his teammate. John Hunter Nemechek lined up behind him.
Allgaier and Sammy Smith that will be on the front row.
Let's just remember back to the Cup race in Indianapolis. We saw the 6 of Brad Keselowski come to pit road. If it happens in this situation, that lane moves up. Remember, that's how this all works. There was a change at the front of that race and a little confusion on the restart. Well, right now, the control car is the 7. He will remain the control car unless he has to come to pit road. But if anybody else pulls off, you just pull up. You don't change rows. You don't re-choose.
And just a reminder, Allgaier last came to pit road on lap 69. The other cars up here, Creed, Sammy Smith, Nemechek, Gregson, Taylor Gray, all came to pit road at lap 62. Austin Hill, 62. So 7 laps fewer fuel for those cars that are racing against Allgaier. You know it's going to be close.
We're getting ready to see an aggression level we have not seen so far today.
All right, 2 laps to go in the restart. Here we go. Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith, JRM Chevys on the front row. You got Noah Gragson inside of row 2. Sheldon Creed looking for his first career win on the outside of row 2. He's had a fast car. Green flag back in the air. Allgaier waited till the end of the restart zone to get going here. Gets a push from the 18. The 30 pushing the 8 down on the bottom. Really 3 lanes of pushing. The 20 pushing the 18 also. The 18 looks to the outside. He might have had a wiggle from the 20, but the 20's going to let him back in. A lot of momentum lost for the 7 of Allgaier. Sammy Smith is clear in the middle of 1 and 2. No, not clear anymore. He waited a little too long to try to complete the pass. Now he's stuck 3 wide middle, getting freight train down the back straightaway. Sheldon Creed going to stay in line behind the 7 and push him into turn 3 yet again. Allgaier clear for the lead. Through 3 and 4, 3 by 3 behind him. Gregson slides up the hill. Not as high as Creed, though. Everybody's starting to fall back from second on back. 4 wide off turn 4 in the back half of the top 10. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Allgaier. A 6/10 of a second lead on the final lap of the race. Sheldon Creed is quite a ways back in second. Can he get a run and mount a charge after the 7? Down to the bottom of the track, the 7 mimicking that line, trying to put a little dirty air on the nose of the 18. Still 3 by 3, just outside the top 10. 1 car into the wall, back across the track, turns Carson Quapple on the back straightaway. Still green as Quapple spins. Now the caution's out, and your race winner. Oh, wow, 1 car in his lid and flipping into the grass. Kyle Sieg upside down. A flip well after the caution was displayed, maybe the reason for the yellow. After Carson Quapple went turning against the outside wall, wild ride for Kyle Sieg in the grass down towards turn 3. On his lid, back on all 4 when the car came to a stop. Meanwhile, as the caution flag had waved in the middle, 5th career win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
3 wide down the back straightaway.
Oh, wow.
I got the right rear of Quapple, and I just piled everybody up. Sieg upside down into the wall. Wow, a long slide all the way down to the grass and then flip back over. Fortunately, ends up on its wheels. I couldn't tell what started it.
The roof flaps didn't even come open.
So, 28 upside down. NASCAR making the absolute correct decision, instantly putting the yellow out. Such a severe accident. You got to get safety workers out right away to these drivers. I think if the cars kind of would have stayed going, we could have seen that race back to the line, Rick. But as soon as any sort of impact, I think the 88 impact to the outside wall was really enough to throw the yellow. But either way, that was it. Finish of the race. Here we go. So
yeah, the roof flaps didn't deploy on the 28.
Over 3,000-pound cars flying through the air is never a good sight.
There it starts right there, and then this is speed. And Kyle was funny when he turned around in the 81 of Chandler Smith, kind of pushing him at the same time. Gets the car launched. And that's kind of what happens. These cars are designed with the roof flaps to keep them on the ground. But you see it, and there's the driver right there getting out, But when you see another force, like another car pushing on it, it changes the physics just enough when you see the cars go in the air.
Career win number 25 for Justin Allgaier, his first win here at Michigan. And he breaks the tie that he was in with Tommy Houston and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and moves him into 10th all-time.
All by himself, too. Average race speed today, 106.96 miles per hour. Total time on this one, 2 hours, 21 minutes, 14 seconds. That's not including the 2 red flags we had for 9 minutes, 41 seconds back in stage 2. And the 14-minute, 10-second red flag for rain briefly here before this overtime restart. Allgaier led the most laps today, 37 laps led. He led the most times, 3 different times. Gets the win here at the Michigan International Speedway. Margin of victory again under caution, as a caution on the final lap of the race ended things. 9 cautions total in this race. 6 different drivers led at least 1 lap. 11 lead changes amongst those 6 drivers. Here's your race winner, Justin Allgaier.
Hey, I'm not very fast, okay?
Trying as best he can. And you now possess 10th position all time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in wins.
I feel like I had to win because Dale Jr.'s running Bristol, and we all know he's probably going to win that race after last year. So just cannot say thank you enough to this team, all these guys standing right here. The effort that's been put in has been incredible. We did not show up to Indianapolis 3 weeks ago like we wanted to, and these guys have worked tirelessly through this break. And cannot thank Meyer and Hellman's, everybody that's a part of this program, Brand Fashion Agriculture, Chevrolet, Hendrick in the shop. I mean, it's truly special. And when you're in Michigan, manufacturer's backyard, these fans, I can hear them all chanting whenever we see like on the red flag. But I hope whoever got turned over here is okay, and we'll go on and celebrate this one for a while.
Congratulations, Justin Allgaier winning at Michigan.
2 red flags in overtime. It's Allgaier who wins. NASCAR Motorsports coverage available on NBCSports.com. Time now for IndyCar Series Racing with Kevin Whit.
All right, so we'll go through the full finishing order of this one here as well. We've gone through all the other race stats following the finish of this, other than the fact that we did go 8 laps past the scheduled distance with the overtime restart here. Justin Allgaier, again, your race winner today, second of the season. Sheldon Creed ends up finishing second for an 11th time in his Xfinity Series career, most all-time in the Xfinity Series before their first career win, if, of course, he is able to eventually get that first career win. John Nemechek ends up third. Anthony Alfredo got a great restart, went from 9th to 4th on those final 2 laps, so top 5 for Anthony Alfredo in the 5 team. Noah Gragson finishes in 5th. Sammy Smith fell to 6th on the final restart. Taylor Gray 7th. Matt DiBenedetto finishes top 10 and 8th. Cesar Baccarello finishes 9th here at Michigan today, and that's a rare one to see in the top 10, to say the least, there as well. Parker Kligerman ends up in 10th. AJ Allmendinger 11th. Leland Honeyman 12th. Ryan Sieg 13th. Ryan Ellis 14th. Jeremy Clements 15th. Jeb Burton 16th. Shane Van Gisbergen 17th. Austin Hill 18th. Josh Williams 19th. Parker Retzlaff 20th. Patrick Emmerling 21st. Jeffrey Earnhardt 22nd. Josh Bilicki 23rd. Blaine Perkins 24th. Logan Bearden 25th, 26th for Carson Kvapil, Chandler Smith 27th, Kyle Sieg last car in the lead lap there as he DNF'd, of course, with flipping there at the finish of the race. Hopefully he is okay. Those roof flaps did not deploy on the back straightaway, causing the flip, more than likely causing the flip, as he had a blowover event there on that final lap crash. Jesse Love ended up first car lap down, finishing 29th, Cole Custer 30th. And out of the race, I do believe. I don't think he stuck around for that overtime restart. Joey Gase 31st, Kyle Weatherman 32nd. He had a hard hit in this one as well. Brennan Poole 33rd, Daniel Dyed 34th, Lawless Allen 35th, Brandon Jones 36th, Sam Mayer 37th, and Riley Herbst 38th. So in total, we ended up having 9 cars DNF in this one as well. Stage winners today. Stage 1 was won by Ryan Sieg. Stage 2 was won by John Hunter Nemechek, and again, Justin Allgaier wins the race and leads the most times and leads the most laps. That is going to finish off today's live commentary stream from the Michigan International Speedway for the run of the Cabo Wabo 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. This is our last and only live commentary stream of the weekend. I'll be at the Michigan International Speedway tomorrow afternoon for the Cup Series race. And, yeah, hope to see you guys at the track. For anybody going there, if you see me, say hi. I'll be pretty much, like, all around. We'll be tailgating. I got a lot of my family members going there. So rain or shine, we'll be there tomorrow and Monday if for some reason I don't run on Sunday. I'll definitely be over in the tent vendors, be adding to my diecast collection tomorrow afternoon. And I get to show those the following weekend on the channel during our Stage 2 diecast showing. So, yeah, should be a good one. Hopefully enjoy the race. Again, you can go to On The Go with CeeLo's YouTube channel for more live commentary coverage there, because, again, I will be at the track. And there will be a race highlight video uploaded from the grandstands from where I'm sitting for tomorrow's race off the exit of Turn 4 entrance area of Pit Road, as that will be uploaded to the channel later tomorrow night after the race. I'll try to get that uploaded as soon as I can. It's just going to depend on traffic getting out of there, of course. So I would imagine probably about 2 hours or so after the race, I'll get that uploaded. Should get most of it edited by the time I get back here, and then it'll be a quick upload from that point. But that will be the video tomorrow. Again, there will be like 20 or so minutes, 25 minute video, and then individual highlight videos as well, potentially posted depending on what events I catch on camera during the course of tomorrow's race. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow. For that, we still have a NASCAR 7 stream also tonight, which will be taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern, Atlanta Motor Speedway, 250-mile race there for our Cup Series. Trying to win 3 in a row with Dave Blaney. That'd be insane if we could do that. So, yeah, that'll be the next stream, technically. And, obviously, live commentary will pick back up again next weekend. We'll have all of our Cup Series, qualifying race coverage from Daytona next Saturday, Friday and Saturday. Xfinity Series coverage, of course, Friday night. trucks are at Milwaukee next Sunday afternoon as well. So we'll have all that live commentary coverage again next week, but I'll be at the race tomorrow. Enjoy the race. See you back and better than ever again tonight, and then obviously during the week and into next weekend as well. Thanks for watching, everyone.